much time to think about hockey. They've been busy thinking about things that have taken place off the ice. Hopefully that will turn itself around tonight, and the Americans will have a good one against the Prince Albert Raiders. Tonight is a whiteout in the Tri-Cities Coliseum. The fans have been asked to all wear white, and from the looks of things, it looks like many have responded to that request from Section F for a complete whiteout in the Tri-Cities Coliseum. I'm Kirk Williamson. Coming up, the face-off.
Here are the starting lineups for tonight's contest. First of all, for the visiting Prince Albert Raiders, on defense number 5, Todd Nelson. Also on defense number 6, Lori Miller. Starting at center number 7, Jeff Nelson. At left wing, it's number 10, Mark Stowe. At right wing, starting tonight, number 16, Jackson Kenny. And in goal tonight for the Raiders, number 29, Dennis Stroxman. And now the starting lineup for your Tri-City Americans.
Manufacturing Company line. For the Prince Albert Raiders, Dennis Broxton in goal. Todd Nelson and Laurie Billick at the points. Jeff Nelson at center. Left winger Mark Stowe. Right winger Jackson Penny.
This first period faceoff brought to you by AA Engraving, 220 East Columbia Drive in Kennewick, your hockey memorabilia headquarters. We engrave it like you want it.
Back into the Tri-City zone with the puck. Stanka plays it around along the wall to Lindsay. Lindsay up the right wing, looks to Sakic, stolen away. Right in front, Nelson with a shot. Kolzig, they score! Todd Nelson right on Kolzig's doorstep, and the Prince Albert Raiders have the lead just like that in the early going. That was pretty poor.
Well, and the Prince Albert Raiders taking advantage of a miscue by the Tri-City Americans down in their own zone. They jumped on a 2-on-1 situation, and the Prince Albert Raiders at the 18-second mark get on the board first. They lead 1-0.
His 19th of the season, the assist to number 16, Jackson Penny, at 18 seconds.
It was Penny that stole the puck away. Now the Americans win the face-off, take it back into the Raiders zone. Raiders bring it up along the wall. Farrell drives it right back in from the right point. Picked up by Nelson, chipped out to neutral ice. Back for it goes Scotty Farrell. Farrell drops it off left now for Calvin Nibbs. Nibbs losing it to Jertis. Jertis losing it once again at center ice for the Americans. That's Terry Virtue. The Americans with it as they work in front of the Raider net. Knocked away right in front of the Raider netminder. Big hit by Virtue as he buries Newmeyer. Puck goes into the Tri-City zone. Kolzig sets it up for Steve Rennie. Rennie turns, comes back up ice. Raiders leading 1-0. Shift change Tri-Cities. Puck shot into the Raider zone. Back for it is Billick, and they get the icing call. 18:50 first period. 1-0 Prince Albert. We'll be right back.
If you're a student in grades 10 through 12 and you like to speak, I mean really speak, you could win up to a $5,000 scholarship in the 1990 National Management Association American Enterprise Speech Contest. So it's up to you, kids. Give a speech and you could win. Contact your school for details. The National Management Association American Enterprise Speech Contest.
Face-off won by the Americans back in their own zone. Comes out along the wall to Levens. Levens trying to get it out of his own zone. He'll turn, and the big centerman brings it up himself. Levens with Renkers coming in beside him. Renkers puts his man against the wall. Puck back up to neutral ice. Ruck can't get to it. Kolzig will leave it for Sandwith behind the net. Trevor Renkers centering a line of Levens and Spenrath. That's a big, tough line, as Sandwith is caught over along the wall. Renkers looks like a small house, Tony.
Yes, he does. Big kid there, and he's in there playing a little bit. What I'm noticing right off early is that now Prince Albert has taken the lead. They have now taken their players and have gone down into the American zone. Lots of good forechecking right now. Good play by Donovan Hextall, number 14, for the Prince Albert Raiders, as he was able to check it up with Moran Sandwith. They froze it up against the boards. There'll be a face-off off the Olaf Kolzig stick side.
On the face-off, Dean and Lee J. Leslie. Jim Dean brought in from the Ontario League to take the draw. Now he steps out, and in goes Kyle Reeves. Puck goes in behind the Tri-Cities net. Raiders with it. Tied up in the corner. Now they kick it loose. Comes out to Jaques behind the net. Jaques turns. Quick headman pass for Reeves. Reeves overskates it. It's on goal, and Sproxton will leave it along the wall. Picked up there by Dean. Dean racing it after it. Dean and Reeves comes back up to the right hash mark. Jaques. Jaques tries to leave it in the circle. Can't. Knocked away from him. Jaques steps away from his man. Puck shot in behind the net now by the Raiders. Leslie goes after, or Brook goes after it. He gets belted, and we get an elbowing call. And it will be against the Tri-City Americans, Kyle Reeves.
Kyle Reeves picks up the first 2-minute minor tonight. Derek Blosky makes the call. He sits down on the pint.
That comes at the 2:15 mark and gives the Raiders their first power play of the night.
Well, the Americans definitely have been killing off quite a few power plays in the last couple of games. Penalty killing has been hard at work in about successfully shutting down 14 of the 16 shorthanded situations they have faced for an amazing 87% kill percentage in the last 2 contests, Kurt.
Well, it was a late arriving crowd tonight, Tony, but it seems the place is filling up. Finally, we're beginning to be a little bit concerned about that, and a good number of them wearing white. As Scherstenka tees it up, fires it into the Prince Albert zone. Back behind the net is Billick. Billick chasing after it, plays it back down low now to Todd Nelson. Nelson, wearing the captain's C, shoots a pass ahead to Jeff Nelson. Jeff leaves it for Jackson Penny. Jeff and Todd Nelson are brothers. Todd, the older of the two, a 20-year-old. Jeff was the Western Hockey League and then the Canadian Hockey League Scholastic Player of the Year last year.
What a good-looking kid, too. I mean, the guy knows how to skate. He's got great balance. And so far, from what I've seen of him tonight, being down there getting that goal, he has really showed his net presence as well.
Face-off won by the Raiders. Jeff Nelson takes it into the Tri-City zone, and Jaques there to slap it back into the Prince Albert zone. Todd Nelson back behind the net. He'll start to bring it out. Todd will wait till everyone gets out of the way, and now he'll step up. Terry Black on the ice. He's a former Portland Winterhawk. Nelson backhanding it right to Scherstenka. Dan gloves it and slaps it right back out of trouble. Back into the Raiders zone. Raiders in green with gold, black, and white. Nelson, that's Jeff, firing it into the Tri-City zone. Kolzig leaves it behind the net for Jaques. Jaques looks for a lane and slaps it right back out of the Tri-City zone. Raiders have not yet had a shot on goal in half of this power play. Now a quick pass ahead to Terry Black. He loses it. Picked up by Jackson Penny, the 20-year-old former Victoria Cougar, showing his very strong skating style as he drops it off to Nelson. Nelson goes cross ice left to Black. Black runs in ahead of Terry Virtue. Stolen away from him by Brian Sakic. Sakic wheels, brings it up the right wing, has Degner. 3-on-2. Degner tried to leave it for Farrell, but Jackson Penny there to break up the play. Brian Pellerin turns. Black goes to the right for Nelson. Knocked away by Terry Degner, and the Raiders again unable to penetrate the Americans' blue line. Dropped back now by Dave Nielsen for the Raiders. Give and go with Curtis, and Nielsen carries the mail. Shoots it in toward Kolzig, and the big guy dives on top of the puck. In traffic, Tracy Eglin racing it on top of Kolzig, but Kolzig there to cover up the puck.
That was a good play by Olaf Kolzig, as he knew that Tracy Eglin was coming in on his right-hand side. Nobody was covering him, as Dave Nielsen was able to take it all the way down in there, get a weak shot off on Ole the goalie. But Ole the goalie, knowing and looking out with that peripheral vision, saw Eglin coming down, was able to cover up the puck. We'll have the face-off off to his left side.
And the face-off will be Scott Allison against Scotty Levens. Levens wins the draw. Spenrath with Levens. And Scherstenka now to Levens. Levy breaks in off the wall, in behind the net, looking for help, finds it at the point. That's Kyle Reeves. Now Levens with it. Reeves on the doorstep. Shoots, hits the pipe. Just came ringing right off the pipe. The Americans keeping it in play. Good heads-up play by Kyle Reeves. Now the Raiders able to fire it out to neutral ice. Sandwith wipes out going after the puck as he lost his edge. All over him is Scott Allison, and the Raiders able to force the play into the American zone. Allison sweeps it back across the slot, but it'll be picked up off the wall by Spenrath. Spenner leaves it for Jaques. Jaques in behind the net for Sandwith. Sandy overskates it. Donovan Hextall drives it back in. Now the Americans fire it back out along the boards. Comes up to Trevor Renkers. Renkers slaps it into the Prince Albert zone. Left behind the net by Sproxton. Sproxton to Todd Nelson. Todd brings it up. He dumps it in. Comes off the wall. Kolzig slaps it away as Sandwith ties the puck up along the wall. We got a whistle. That was, if the call there was that the puck was tied up, that was one of the quickest whistles I've ever seen in the history of hockey.
They were moving it a little bit there still before they called that whistle. They're bringing it outside the American zone for the face-off.
It'll be Fuller, Tom Fuller on the face-off against Jim Dean. Jim or James, he does not like to be called Jimmy. Back into the Tri-City zone as Dean wins the face-off, gets a pass back from Ruck. Tried to get it to Reeves. Kyle overskates it. Reeves trying to get it into Dean. Reeves is tied up by Perkins, and they'll face it off at the blue line. Well, there's just about a foot difference between Colin Ruck and Jim Dean. Dean stands 5'8", sort of, and Ruck stands 6'14", I think.
This is what they brought in James Dean for, is to win the draws. And I've watched him in practice. I've watched him really concentrate on these draws. He's a very, very good face-off man. Very strong upper body, compact youngster. He'll face off against Kurt Renier. Dean wins the draw, and Reeves has it. Dumps it in left to the net. He scored! Broxton scored on himself. Kyle Reeves will get it as Broxton just simply misplayed the puck. And Kyle Reeves will remember that one as a marker that goes down in the book, as Kyle Reeves picks up number 34 on the season. And no, they are washing it off. They say that it was off a skate. Okay. What's the call going to be? Offside was the call. Against the Americans, okay. And the faceoff will come just outside the blue line. The Americans want to discuss it a bit with referee Blosky. I think they're going to have to take a look at that one, because I'm not real sure. I thought the shot was taken just outside the blue line. Well, I do too, but none of that will make a bit of difference as Dean steps in to take the faceoff. Dean wins it again. Back into the Tri-City zone this time. Dean takes his man out of the play, and Farrell has the puck. Farrell slapping it off the wall, driven back in by Siebel, and the Americans will control it back in their own zone. Terry Virtue now. Whoops, Virtue misplayed it, and he was hit hard by Dwayne Brook. With it up along the wall, Rankers goes down beside the Tri-Cities nets. Picked up by Dean. Dean to Reeves. Reeves slapping it cross ice. Foot races on. Loring takes a whack there at Brook. Misses the puck, and now the Raiders have it. Brook with it. Brook out to center ice. Gets it to Lee Leslie. He fires it in. Kolzig stops it and leaves it beside the net for Virtue. Virtue wheels. He'll bring it straight up the middle. Terry Virtue. Virtue goes left. Intended for Loring. Picked up by Lindsay in the left corner. Lindsay takes a big hit. Puck is loose. Picked up there by Jeff Nelson. Nelson turns. Goes on the left side now to Renier. Renier goes right to Nelson. Penny shot. Hits Renier right in the backside, or Kolzig might have been in big trouble. Picked up by the Americans. Headman pass to Loring. Loring can't get to it. They'll chase in after it. It'll be icing when the Raiders touch it. Icing the call. 1-0. Prince Albert leading the Americans. Back after this.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, if my microphone will work, the new Miss Tri-Cities 1989 is...
Columbia Cable proudly presents highlights from the 1989 Miss Tri-Cities Scholarship Pageant. Sunday, January 14th at 8 p.m. With special permission from the Miss America pageant, Mr. William Caligari, National Program Director. Again, highlights from the 1989 Miss Tri-Cities Scholarship Pageant, Sunday, January 14th on Cable 15.
Face-off. Face-off won by the Raiders. Back up front now. Knocked in beside the Americans' net. Chopped at. Chopped in the air by Jurnis, and it goes out of play. Now, and they say the Raiders, well, what are we going to do here? Face it off just outside the Tri-Cities blue line. It bounced right off a Raider stick, went out, and they're going to bring it back outside the blue line, give the advantage to the Americans on that. Yeah, looking at the sea of white out here, Kirk. Looks good. It sure does. Allison on the face-off against Degner. Puck shot in behind the Tri-Cities net. Sure stank. I don't think either man really won the face-off. Hot pass for Lindsay. Picked up now by Degner. Degner give and go with Lindsay. Billy wheels into the right side. Leaves it for Sakic. Sakic across the slot for Sherstanka breaking in. Danny couldn't quite get there in time to make the play. Puck picked up by Nielsen. Fired out along the wall. Back out to neutral ice. Picked up by Sherstanka. Dan Sherstanka slapping it back into the Raider zone. Foot race. Back for it is Perkins. He's being tied up by Sakic. Puck's loose. Jaques has it. Jaques for the Americans. He wheels. This Raider team, a good skating team. Sproxton leaving the puck back behind the net. Outlet pass goes left now to Allison. Allison brings it up. His pass intercepted by Rennie. Rennie, Sakic. Dogger with it right side. Shoots. Sproxton makes the save. Rennie in after it. Now McNutt in the right corner. McNutt, Sakic, and Rennie. Sakic with the puck. Shoots it into the slot. McNutt checked off the play by number 7, Jeff Nelson. McNutt fires it back low. This time in after it is Tom Fuller. Fuller tied up by Rennie. Fuller and Newmeyer. Puck's loose beside the net. A shot just knocked away. May have hit the pipe. Fired back out to the left point. Sandwith. Sandwith has it chopped away from him. It'll be picked up by Fuller. 1-on-2. Fuller in ahead of McNutt. It's chopped in toward the Americans' net. Kozuback will leave it there for McNutt. End-to-end action here in tonight's game as Nibbs brings it up. 2-on-3. Nibbs, long distance. Sproxton puts it out of play. No, puts it off the glass. Big hit there by McNutt as they continue to fight for it in the left circle. Picked up now by the Raiders. They bring it up. Terry Black, former Winterhawk, across the blue line. Pulls up short. Backhand pass right to Siebel. Siebel is popped along the wall. Rennie goes after the loose puck. Now it's tied up along the boards. Spenrath has it. Spenner turns, finds his man. That's McNutt. McNutt 1-on-4 with Spenrath catching up. McNutt fires it down low for Greg Spenrath. Spenrath steps away from Renier. Puck still tied up along the wall. In after it now is Siebel. Siebel turns. Everybody races back up ice. Terry Black can't get to it. It's on goal, and Kozuback will play it out to Jaques. Jaques in traffic, finds Spenrath. The big redhead turns, gets it ahead to Levens. Levens 2-on-2. Levens a diving play by Siebel to take Levens off the puck. Now Spenrath there to fire it in low. Spenrath, Levens, and Rankers. Spenrath shoots. Just kicked away by Sproxton. Comes out to Trevor Rankers. Rankers trying to get it to Levens. Can't. Bodies all over the ice. Now shot back toward the American zone. Jaques with it. Backhand pass, Sherstenka. Dan Sherstenka wheels. Looks up, goes to Jaques along the wall. Jaques, headman pass left, Levens. Levens and Rankers break in. Levy with it. Tries to find Loring. Can't. Puck's knocked loose. The Americans with it again. This time Virtue at the blue line. He shoots it in. We get an offside call.
Great defensive play right there by Terry Virtue, number 21, and the crowd is definitely responding to that. As if Prince Albert were able to get that by Virtue, it would have been a 2-on-0 situation. Virtue puts the leg down, stops the puck, is able to bring it back, but unfortunately bounces over the blue line, and they still had an American in the Raiders zone, offside, but again, a good hand for number 21, Terry Virtue.
Faceoff will come just outside the Prince Albert blue line. It is Jeff Nelson, 17-year-old in his second year in the Western Hockey League against Dean. Puck slapped along the wall. Dean chases after it, can't get it. Raiders back with it. That's Todd Nelson. Goes cross ice right to Jurtis rather. Ahead to Jackson Penny. Slapped away from him by Farrell. Farrell cross ice. Newmeyer picked up by Dean. Dean across the blue line. Picked up by Reeves. Reeves goes to the backhand, misses. Wide to the right side. Puck comes off the wall to Mark Stowe. Knocked away from him, and Reeves tries to tie him up. Can't. Raiders turn. Quick pass, cross ice. Here's Penny, 1-on-1. Shoots, and Kozuback makes his save. Virtue with the puck in his own zone. Tried to get it back to Dean, lost it. Penny with it at the right hash mark. Penny shot smothered by Dean. Now Virtue pins his man to the wall. Dean goes after the puck, and the Raiders will get it loose. Dean pokes at it. Nelson backhand outside. Penny shot, blocked. Kozuback. Puck's in the air in the corner. Puck goes into the right corner. Stowe, and falling on top of it is Terry Virtue.
Boy, the Prince Albert Raiders are really playing a fine hockey game so far. Both teams actually are. But the Raiders having just a step on them right now as the forechecking and back-checking has just really been impressive. And according to Coach Terry Simpson, when I talked with him earlier tonight, they have been playing some very good hockey the 2 out of the 3 games that they played on this Western trip. The 2 games that they lost, he said they played excellent. The game they played really bad in, they won. That was against Victoria.
I think there may be a message there. Face-off in behind the Tri-Cities net. Ruck, outlet pass to Degner, 2-on-2. Degner has Sakic. Degner shot, dribbles over the net, rebounds out the side, picked up by Degner, and we get a whistle. Now what? Referee Blosky. That's the second time now we've had a whistle for no apparent reason.
Well, I think what they're going to call there is that Sproxton had the puck in his area, and they went ahead and called him as he had froze it.
He did not freeze the puck.
That's what it didn't look like, but that's what they called it.
Blosky gets paid to blow the whistle. I guess he's going to blow it. Puck down into the Tri-City zone. Foot race is on. If Ruck gets it, it'll be icing. He slaps it out of the way. No icing, washed off. Picked up by Perkins. In behind the Tri-Cities net, all the way around. Ruck tried to outlet it to Lindsay. Slapped away from him by the Raiders. Back in beside the Tri-Cities net. Ruck goes after it. Ruck behind the net, outlet left, Sandwith. Sandy fires it out. The Americans with the Twin Towers defense on the ice now. Back into the Raiders zone. Eglin hits it a little soon, and it comes out to Jeff Nelson. Puck's loose. Sakic jumps on it. Picked up by Degner. Degner to Lindsay. Taken away by Jaques. Jaques with the puck in the Raiders zone. Shovels it into Degner. Right side. Lindsay takes a whack and it misses. Picked up there by Stowe. Nice save by Sproxton. Now it's shoveled back out to neutral ice. It'll be cut down by Scherstenka. Knocks it away from Tracy Eglin. Out to Lindsay. Lindsay across the blue line. Back for Sakic. Losing it there. Picked up by Eglin. Eglin turned. Looks for help. Finds a man. That's Allison. Allison down the slot. In pressure, and Kolzig covers up.
Defensively by the Americans, they were able to take away the extra rebound shot, and another good save by Olaf Kolzig. As if that shot had been just a little bit harder and Ole was not in the position, that puck would have bounced right out in front. Lots of sticks going by Ole as he covered it up, and that's definitely what you don't want to see happen. But the Americans there to push the guys out of the way. Ole there to keep the eye on the puck, cover it up. We'll have the face-off off to the stick side.
7:58 to go in the first period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. 1-0 Raiders. Puck comes out along the wall. Calvin Nibbs. Nibbs tried to get it to Farrell, couldn't. Raiders center, but Nibbs is there to break it up. Nibbs goes right to Rennie. Nibbs and Rennie with McNutt catching up. Nibbs 3-on-2, back to Rennie. Rennie, McNutt in front, and he can't get the redirect. Puck goes into the corner right side. That's Pellerin. Pellerin fires it off the wall. Picked up, turn around, McNutt fires, and it's blocked. Puck's loose. McNutt shoots again. This time it's kicked away. Again by Sproxton. Picked up by Black. Black up along the right wing boards. Chopped at, and the Americans control it. Rennie back to McNutt. 2-on-3. Three guys go down. Rennie will pick up the puck. Rennie to the left circle. Rennie under pressure from Donovan Hextall. Puck goes down low to Billick. Billick turns. He gets buried. I mean buried. The Americans with it, they throw it out front. Picked up by Hextall, and he fires it the length of the ice. It'll be on goal. Kolzig will play it. Picked up by Sandwith. 7 minutes to play in the period. Sandy fires it in. Knocked down by Siebel. Fires it back out to neutral ice. Racing back for it is Ruck. Ruck under pressure from Renier. Fires it out the left side. Spin Rath cross ice right for Rankers. Picked up by Levins. Levy beats one man, beats two, takes it in. Levins goes to the backhand, can't quite get it done. In a lot of traffic, Scotty Levins with chances. Now the Raiders fire it out one more time. Ruck goes back for it. Again under pressure. Ruck will pick it up behind the net. Outlet pass stolen by number 24, Dwayne Brook. Puck's loose in the left side. Picked up by the Raiders. That's Penny, or Brook rather. He fires. Kolzig makes the save. Puck goes to the right corner. Renier with it. Down low, in behind the net. Raiders tied up. Picked up now by Rankers. Trevor Rankers turns. Slapped off of his stick. Puck picked up by Spenrath. Spenrath turns. Fires it back out to neutral ice. Length of the ice, no icing. Touched there by Gertis. Picked up by the Raiders. Gertis from Oslo, Norway, I believe. That for you in a second. Nope, from Ardrossan, Alberta, wherever that is. Puck out to neutral ice. Picked up by Dean. Fired back in on goal. Sproxton leaves it beside the net for Gertis. Out along the wall. Picked up by Scherstenka. Shot. Rebound comes out, but nobody there. Jaques, he takes a shot. Sproxton another save on the long distance shot. Fired off the wall. Scherstenka knocks it down. Picked up by the Raiders. Here comes Nelson. End to end. 2-on-1. Nelson has a man. Kolzig played it. Braked it up. Broke it up. Along with Jaques. Great defensive play by the Americans. Now here comes Loring. Loring. Reeves fires it in. Loring beside the net. We get a whistle. That was a nice play by Reeves. He drove it in front of Loring, hoping the rebound would come back to Brad. And without the offsides, that might have been a point.
Exactly, and what happened right there is that Kyle just had lost the puck just momentarily right at the blue line. And as it took the time to get himself regrouped, Loring was in over the blue line. And by the time he had gotten a shot off, Loring was a few steps in. Called the offsides. We'll bring it back out the Raider zone.
Face-off just outside the Raider blue line. Degner tied up by Jeff Nelson. Puck shot into the Raider zone. Knocked down there by Perkins. Cross-ice pass. Bounces off the wall, and Virtue will have it. Virtue wheels. Pulls up. Virtue clobbered by Mark Stowe. 5 minutes to go. They scramble forward in the corner. 1-0 Raiders. Back out front. Long-distance shot. Kolzig makes the save. Out to the right side. Perkins. He fires it in. Kolzig catches the puck, and he'll hold on. 1-0. Raiders lead. Under 5 minutes to go in the first period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum.
Great, exciting end-to-end action here as the Sea of White, 6,000 fans here taking a look at a very good hockey game. At least the first 16 minutes of this game is. My first intermission guest tonight, Kirk, will be Mark Miller. He's the All-Star coordinator for the Tri-Cities Coliseum. He's going to talk a little bit about what is planned for this year's All-Star game, which will be here in the Tri-Cities Coliseum on the 23rd.
Face-off, right circle in the Tri-City zone. It'll be Scott Allison and, well, started out to be McNutt. Yeah, it'll be McNutt. They have a look at the Americans' goal. Looks like it was off its moorings for a minute. It's back and we're ready to go. McNutt with Nibs and Rennie. Puck is down. Won by the Americans. Rennie with it. Cross ice left. Nibs. 2 on 3. Nibs across the blue line. Drops it for Rennie. Picked up by McNutt. Nope, lost. Picked up by the Raiders. Eglin. Now across the blue line. Picked up again by Laurie Billick. Billick brings it down. Billick to the right side. Tries to center. Sherstenka there. And breaks up the play. 4.5 minutes. Puck goes to McNutt. Off the wall to Rennie. Steve Rennie. Out front to Sherstenka with McNutt catching up. Sherstenka dumps it in, and McNutt lines up his man. The Raiders with it. They bring it along the wall. That's Allison. Fires it out to neutral ice. Whoops! Off for Sherstenka's stick. Picked up by Eglin. Eglin goes in, and Kozuback dives on the puck. Another shot. Kozuback covers in. Kozuback diving for the puck to poke check it away from Eglin. And then Eglin wheeled and got the puck again, took the shot, and the big guy made the save.
Boy, what wheels does Tracy Eglin have? My goodness. He put on a burst of speed, went right around Dan Sherstenka, in on Ole Kozuback. Ole playing the smart goaltender move. He stuck the stick way out there, was able to poke check it away. Eglin turns around, regains the puck, takes a shot. Ole gets it back and covers it up for the face-off.
Face-off right circle in the Tri-City zone. Well, it was going to be Rinkers to take the draw. He gets the thumb, and in comes Scott Levin. Shot taken on a face-off. Kozuback makes his save, and that big trapper glove. Looked like number 14, Donovan Hextall, that blasted that one away. I'm told he's the younger brother of goaltender Ron Hextall.
Of the Hextall dynasty?
It's it. Interestingly enough, Ole Kozuback lists as his hockey idol, Ron Hextall. Face-off right circle, won by the Americans in their own zone. Farrell with it, plays it along the wall to Levins. Levins sweeps it ahead to Rinkers. Rinkers left, Spinrath. Spinrath at the blue line. Spinrath tries to muscle up a shot, can't. Goes down low in the corner to Rinkers, out front Levins. Back to Rinkers. Newmeyer's holding on to Rinkers' stick. Back to Levins beside the net. Scott Levins being worked over there by Jurtis as they continue to scramble for the puck. Now Rinkers buries Jurtis. The puck comes out along the wall. Back up front to Hextall. Hextall to Terry Black. Black wheels. Hauls it down into the Tri-City zone. Pulls up the left circle. Long pass. Cross ice to Pellerin. Or to Jurtis, rather. Shot into the slot. And a penalty coming up. Roughing will be the call.
Oh, the second penalty called in this first period of play. And both of them have been against the Tri-City Americans, as number 11, Trevor Rankers, gets the roughing penalty. Power play number 2 for the Prince Albert Raiders, who are 0 for 1 so far this evening.
That comes at the 16:31 mark. So this has been a very quickly played period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. The Americans host the Victoria Cougars on Sunday night. Then it's back to Spokane on Wednesday against the Spokane Chiefs. You hear the fans yelling TCA, TCA. I saw at least one shirt tonight, Tony, that said LaForge's lug on, making reference to the man who touched off all of the activity of the last week. Nibs and Jaques break in. Nibs goes to Jaques, right side. The Americans win the draw. Back out to neutral ice. Picked up there by Eglin. Cross ice pass, knocked down by Rennie. Back into the Tri-City zone. Jaques will tee it up. Jaques to Rennie. Rennie in a foot race. He won't get to it, but Sproxton will play it behind the net. Now Rennie takes his man down. Rennie with the puck. Rennie has lost his stick. 3 minutes to play in the period. Rennie without his lumber. That's a tough one. Rennie racing off the ice as the Raiders fired ahead to Dave Nielsen. He can't get anything done. Now it's picked up by Lindsay. Lindsay one-on-one. Needs help. Gets it from McNutt. McNutt in the slot. McNutt went to the... No, he's hauled down. Penalty coming. McNutt was wiped out right in front of the net. Blosky got guts enough to call a penalty shot here.
I doubt very seriously, Kirk, but that was a play that number 5, Todd Nelson, captain of the Prince Albert Raiders, the only thing he could do was to bring down Steve McNutt. And that was on a clear breakaway shot, an opportunity, but the stick went around him.
Isn't that where you call a penalty shot?
it's very difficult to probably define what they call a penalty shot and what they don't. And we haven't seen one yet this year in the
It's real easy to define what they don't.
Number 5, Todd Nelson, 2 minutes for hooking.
Hooking the call. Face off, right circle, in the Prince Albert zone. I guess I have to agree with Larry King. That's one of the most exciting things in hockey, and they don't call it enough. McNutt and Jeff Nelson on the face-off. When was the last time we had one here? Out front. Farrell shot long distance, put up into section W there by Dennis Broxton.
Well, the last time we had a penalty shot,
except for the shootout in the tournament,
I believe you're probably going to have to go back last season. Stewie Barnes, wasn't that against Portland?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe in the playoffs.
Oh, it was, matter of fact, it was about a year ago right now.
Okay.
So we're due.
4-on-4. They, two teams with 4 skaters each for another minute and 3. The Americans will have a short power play. They're first. Raiders get it out to Jackson Penny, right to Newmeyer. He fires it in behind the Americans' net, picked up by Virtue. Slaps it off the wall. Whoop, got a little sloppy there. And Penny takes the puck away from him. They were sort of almost maybe teammates in Victoria at one time. Puck comes up to the right side. Farrell, whoops, mishandled again. This time Lindsay will pick it up, and he knows what to do. Lindsay gets in ahead of Penny, but Penny takes Lindsay off the play, back into the Raiders zone. 30 seconds left in 4-on-4. Big hit there by Terry Virtue. And the Americans bring it up. Farrell dumping it in, left of the net. Farrell's hauled down, penalty. Nelson's going to go, the other Nelson this time. Puck's loose beside the net. The Americans with an extra attacker. Farrell in the corner out front. Reeves fans on it. Reeves tries to jam it once, twice, and they'll blow the whistle. But the Americans are going to get another play.
I swear, Kirk, now that's the 3rd time that that whistle has popped in his mouth and he's blown it that early. No Prince Albert Raider had any control of that puck whatsoever, and they cannot call that until the puck is in control of the team that's being penalized. That puck was out here on the corner and was ready to go into the Americans' hands again, and he went ahead and blew the whistle. But anyway, the Americans still come out on top on it. They get the 5-on-3 in 11 seconds. And a great opportunity for the Americans to tie this game back up. Prince Albert leads 1-0 with 1:40 remaining in the first.
Minutes for tripping at 18.
Well, the Nelson brothers going to have a little family reunion down there in the penalty box. They are from Prince Albert, which may explain the academic excellence of brother Jeff. It's kind of nice to have mom's home cooking and go to schools that you've been in since you were this high. Face off, right circle in the Prince Albert zone. 11 seconds remaining in the penalty to Rankers, and then the Americans will be back to full strength with a 2-man advantage. Right now they have the 1-man advantage. Reeves will step in to take the draw. He wins it to Jaques. Back up to the right point, Farrell. Farrell, 6 seconds left in the penalty. Spenrath fires and misses wide of the net. Jaques with it, 1 second. Farrell fires, scores! Eddie Farrell! Was that a 5-on-3? Yes, it was.
Yes, it was, right at the last second.
Oh, no. Right at the end of the penalty to Rankers.
Rankers steps right out onto the ice. Scotty Farrell picks up the puck just inside the blue line at about 50 foot out, lets a slap shot rifle. It gets some air, bounces off a stick as it goes up into the air. Looks like a Raider defenseman, and it goes up high into the net. The Americans on the power play goal tie the score up at 1.
18:34 the time of the goal, and the Americans 1 for 1 on power plays.
Goal! Scored by number 6, Scott Farrell, his 5th goal of the year. The assist to number 4, Steve Jaques, and number 27, Greg Spenrath. A power play at
18:32 the time of the goal. Puck out to neutral ice, under a minute to play. Puck shot back into the Raiders zone. Now it's 5-on-4. The Americans still with a 1-man advantage. Up along the wall, right side. Cross ice left, Sakic. Sakic hauls it in, drops it to Reeves. Reeves a drive. Broxton kicks it away. Lindsay picks up the puck in the right corner. Gets it back from Sakic. Back up front now. Farrell turns. Farrell blasts one. This one winds up in section T. as it hit a stick out front. It hit Dave Nielsen's stick and ricocheted way out of play.
Scotty Farrell thinking he could do the same thing again, takes the slap shot from this time from the corner, and it does hit another Prince Albert stick again, but this time it used it as a launching ramp, went way out of the ice surface area and up into Section T for a souvenir, and we'll have to face off at the point of the infraction, about 10 foot inside of the blue line in the Raiders zone.
Well, that was a light beam, that first shot of that first goal of Farrell's. Broxton had about no chance. That might have gone through him. Face-off won by Rankers. McNutt with the puck. McNutt, top of the left circle, goes down low left. Degner. Rankers, shoot shot, blocked by Broxton. The outlet pass knocked down by Jaques. McNutt goes left now to Degner. Degner tied up along the wall by Nielsen. McNutt dives on it. They continue to scramble for it. McNutt has it. McNutt with the puck. He's taken down. Picked up by Degner. Degner looking at Rankers, goes left to him. On a give and go, Rankers to Degner. He fires from the short side, can't get it. Sakic with it. 2 seconds. Degner back to Sakic as time runs out. So at the end of the first period, the score, we are tied at 1 at the Tri-Cities Coliseum.
Kids are asleep. I'm ordering a movie using Columbia Cable's automated attendant. I dial 7830123. Listen to the instructions. Use my touch tone. Bingo. Or else you can check your account balance, report a cable outage, talk to a cable representative automatically. But tonight it's a movie with Margaret alone.
The automated attendant from Columbia Cable.
Player the Americans tried to get. Victoria wanted him as far away as they could get him, and Prince Albert seemed to be the right place. In this case, Rankers wins the draw. Puck goes along the wall to the right in front of the scorer's bench, and it's tied up there. Todd Nelson and Trevor Rankers tie it up. And the face-off once again will come in the neutral zone.
This is just where Rick Kozuback wanted the team to be. Very close, not out in front like they have been. He thought the first period was the do or die period, so he wanted them to be right at close, and it's tied at 1, and that's just what he wanted.
This time, the draw won by Nelson. Puck fired back into the Tri-City zone. Back behind the net, Jaques. Jaques wheels. 2 seconds left in the power play. Reeves hits the puck to Rankers. Give and go, but Reeves overskates the puck. Picked up by Jackson Penny. Penny wheels. Has it poked away by Reeves. Penny wheels in behind the net as they continue to scramble for it. Now Mark Stowe has it. Cross ice to the right side for Billick. Billick fires it into the Tri-City zone off the wall. Kozuback will steer it behind the net. Stowe out in behind the net. Takes a poke at Kozuback. Has the puck. Backhands it in. Kozuback whacks it away. Picked up by Penny. Penny shovels it out front to Nelson. Nelson tied up by Reeves. Right side Billick. Kozuback dives after the puck, and it goes behind the net. Todd Nelson with it. Fires it down along the wall. Mark Stowe goes after it. Picked up by Nelson. Whistle. Penalty coming. High stick. Now Rankers and Stowe exchanging words. And I think Mark Stowe will head himself over to the penalty box to give the Americans their 3rd power play of the night.
Mark Stowe being whistled down for the high sticking 2 minutes. As referee Blosky comes over, gives the official word. Power play number 3, as Kirk mentioned, for the Americans. And the Americans right now 1 for 2.
1 for 2 with a man advantage. And it will be a face-off just outside the Tri-Cities blue line. the Americans, Jim Dean, along with Degner. Dean, Degner, and Lindsay, so 2/3 of the manufacturing company, with McNutt and Scherstenka at the point. For the Raiders, Allison, Newmeyer, Nielsen, and Jaques. Jaques almost loses it into his own zone. They shoot it back to the Tri-City zone. McNutt with it. Nutter turns, looks for Dean, finds him, but Dean can't get to the pass along the wall. Dean skates right into it, picks it up, 2-on-1. Dean has Lindsay, whoops, couldn't get it to Lindsay and dropped it back, but the Americans couldn't handle the pass. Now to go in behind that was a nice move by Jim Dean. Had two guys standing between him and Lindsay. Outlet pass up the wall, left side, picked up by Dean. Dean wheels, goes left to Degner. Degner down to Lindsay in the left corner. Plays it in behind the net, picked up by Dean. Dean slaps it into the crease. Back up to McNutt. McNutt turns. Fires it down low to Lindsay. Back to Degner. Degner shot score! Terry Degner! That was a pretty goal.
That certainly was, and you got to give a lot of credit to those 5 individuals out there. Lindsay, McNutt, Dean, Scherstenka, and Degner, as Degner rifles it right at top of the circle. In the right-hand circle, it goes right in between the pads, slides in past the red line. A power play goal for the Americans. They take the lead 2-1 on a great pass from Billy Lindsay down in the corner, mucked it up, brought it out, and there was Terry Degner with the one-timer. It was a beautiful play. Excellent power play, and I got a reason. I think the reason that you saw those fast skaters out there was for just that reason. Good puck handling, good skaters, and the Americans capitalized.
Lindsay, wait a minute. They didn't give that to Lindsay. Dean and McNutt get the assist. They're going to have to look at that. A little trouble with that one.
That was Terry Degner that took the shot from
Degner took the shot, but I thought Lindsay put it on his stick. Puck shot back into the Tri-City zone, back after it Ruck. Ruck slaps it out off the wall, cut down by Todd Nelson. Big hit on Nelson by McNutt. Shot taken once, twice. Kozuback makes the save, comes off the wall. Back up to Nibbs, Calvin Nibbs, feathering it into the Prince Albert zone. Reeves racing it after it, wheels in behind the net, tied up there by Todd Nelson. Loose puck picked up by McNutt. McNutt tries to bring it around. He can't. He's tied up. Raiders with it. Billick fires it off the wall. Sandwith keeping it back in the Raiders zone, but the Americans have to clear. Back with the puck is Todd Nelson. Nelson turns, goes cross ice right to Laurie Billick. Billick has his pass stolen away by Rankers. Rankers starts in, loses the puck to the Raiders. Back out to neutral ice. Farrell there to drive it in. Penalty coming. It will be too many men, I believe, called against the Tri-City Americans. Raiders with the puck. They bring it out to the right side. Penalty coming up. They're going to say Farrell should not have been on the in the play, as Farrell still can't get to the puck. Now it's shot in. Kozuback touches it in the Americans' control, and the penalty will go against the Americans for having too many men on the ice.
Little confusion there on the line change as the Americans trying to send out a new line, and several men stepped onto the ice. Then they had a little confusion on who was supposed to be out there, and they only had 4 for just a short period of time, and then one of the Americans was able to come back on, and it will be a 2-minute penalty, giving the Raiders a power play opportunity.
Well, let's see who will serve it. I think Brad Loring. Farrell stayed on the ice. I thought that was going to be the call when Scott Farrell came off the ice. And the faceoff will come in the right circle. Tri-City zone.
You know, I think you're right. That Lindsay should get the assist on that.
I think it's Lindsay and McNutt, but they're gonna check it. Okay, it is Lindsay McNutt. Okay, the Raiders on the power play. As the shot is taken on the faceoff, Kozuback covers it up. Raiders with their 3rd power play. So how's it read? Lindsay
and McNutt, power play goal. Degner gets the marker.
Right, okay. That came at the 1-minute 49-second mark. Thanks to Barry Kilburn, who is the head of off-ice officials here in the Coliseum faceoff. Knocked away from Penny to the right side. Nelson down low right to Jeff Nelson. Back up front, shot taken wide of the net. Chipped at by Terry Black. Almost got Kozuback out of position. Puck goes behind the net. They continue to dig for it. Jeff Nelson going after it. Can't. Jaques after Nelson. And they try to dig the puck off the wall. Now it comes to Terry Black. He throws it out front. Shot by Penny. Blocked by Kozuback. Slapped away by the Americans. Nice defensive play by Jaques that time. Jaques, he has it. Turns, looks up ice. Finds his man. That's Nibbs. Nibbs and Rennie break in 2-on-2. Nibbs with the puck. Nibbs a drive. Oh, he hit the pipe. Just hit the pipe. Whew, that was close. Here come the Raiders. Terry Black brings it up. Nibbs has dented more steel in this league than just about anybody else. Penny will drive it into the Tri-City zone. Gets by Kozuback, taken off the wall by Nelson, but it goes in next to Ole, the goalie. Now Jaques there to slap it back around behind the net and all the way down into the Prince Albert zone. Croxton will leave it for Billick. Billick turns into the corner. Billick cross ice left to Nelson. Nelson lays it ahead now to Tracy Eglin. Eglin being tied up by Sakic. And he throws the puck away back out front now to Farrell. And the Raiders drive it back in again. This time to Penny at the right point. He wires it one more time. But Virtue's there, slaps it over his man, and back out to neutral ice. Nice play by Virtue to slap the puck right over the head of Jeff Nelson, and get it out of the zone. This is Nielsen bringing it up now. Goes left to Tracy Eglin. Bad pass. Virtue has it. And Virtue drives it back into the Prince Albert zone. 9 seconds left in the Prince Albert power play. Raiders with the puck. This is Jeff Nelson. Starts up to the blue line. Knocked down by the Americans. Reeves with it from Spenrath. Reeves shot. Rebound off Croxton. Loring pops his man in the corner. We get a whistle as time runs out in the power play as Loring just jumped on the ice and got in the middle of the play.
The Americans have really come out with some steam in this second period as they have really come out wanting to play, get back into this game, and they have done that, taken the lead 2-1. You know, it's the little things that you really pay attention to in this game, and one of the things I noticed during the power play that the Raiders had, the puck that was up on the back of the net behind Ole, the goalie. Well, it wasn't the Raiders that knocked it off, it was the Americans. Being the man down, you would think they would keep that on there for the face-off, but not these guys. They came to play tonight.
Puck shot out of the Prince Albert zone by the Raiders. Back to neutral ice, picked up by Scherstenka. Scherstenka, cross-ice pass left for Spenrath. Knocked off his stick and picked up by Terry Black. Black wheels, goes into the Tri-City zone, comes off the wall to Fuller. Fuller and Scherstenka tie up in the left corner, Prince Albert zone. They try to dig the puck loose with Rankers there. Puck comes out to Black. His shot smothered by Jaques. Another shot. Kozuback knocks it away. Comes out to Rankers. Rankers backhands to neutral ice. Foot race. Reeves and Nelson. Reeves and Nelson in behind the net. Kyle Reeves ties up Nelson, trying to dig the puck loose. Raiders. Now we got a whistle as Rankers jumps into it. And Kyle Reeves. Well, let's see who's going to the penalty box. Looks like it's going to be Prince Albert Raiders roughing the call. And it is Todd Nelson.
Todd Nelson gets his second penalty of the night. He sits down, a roughing call. The Americans are going back on the power play. So far in this period, it's been power play, power play, power play. As the Americans have had 2 this period, Prince Albert with 1. And the Americans so far 2 for 3, 66% on the power play tonight. And a chance to make it 3 for 4.
And for the Americans, Sakic, Spenrath, and Reeves with Jaques and Farrell.
A lot of credit to Kyle Reeves right there to really go after that penalty.
Scotty Farrell has really emerged as a team leader, wearing the assistant captain's A. Jaques right, Reeves. Reeves scores! Kyle Reeves! He wound up inside the net, but he took it in with him. Nice play.
Kyle Reeves takes Croxton completely out, dekes him out, pulls the puck back over, and just lets it slide right into the net. And the Prince Albert Raiders want to kind of protest that a little bit, but still Blosky says it counts. He points to it. It goes in the net. The Americans get their 3rd power play goal of the night on 4 opportunities, and they now extend the lead to 2. They now lead 3-1.
That took exactly 5 seconds. So let's go to the fastest goals here, and is there a fastest power play goal? I'm not sure. We'll have to look it up in a minute. Face-off back into the Tri-City zone. Shot out by the Americans. Comes ahead to Loring. Loring in a foot race. Goes into the corner with Billick. Loring gets crunched. Puck's loose in the corner. Sakic getting the other assist as the Raiders bring the puck back up to neutral ice. Ruck goes back for it. He's lined up there by Renier, and the puck is chopped loose. Now Dean with it. Dean fires it cross ice. Comes off the wall to Rennie. Rennie takes his man out, and Dean picks up the puck. Dean tapping it to the right side. Tried to get it to Loring. Couldn't. Dean goes after it. Raiders try to slap it out. And it's Farrell keeping it in play to Jim Dean. Dean, Rennie. Rennie in the left circle. Into the slot, and it's knocked away from him. That's twice Dean has put the puck right in the slot, and there's been nobody there. Now Ruck gets it ahead to Lindsay. Billy brings it in from the right side. Billy goes to the top of the left circle. Tries to find Loring. Can't. Bad pass. Jeff Nelson with the puck. Nelson turns. Brings it back up. Shoots a pass cross ice for Stowe. Kozuback slaps the puck out of the way. A shot taken from the left side just wide of the net. Kozuback out of position. Puts that one away. Puck. The penalty will be against the Americans as Terry Virtue and Jackson Penny exchanging pleasantries down there. Well, I think Trans Sandwich is going to get the hooking call.
Kirk, I don't see the fastest. We might be able to find it here in just a sec here.
Okay, the Raiders now on power plays are 0 for 3. And this will be their 4th of the night. The Americans 3 for 4. Tri-City's leading 3-1 over Prince Albert. Well, one thing about it, it won't hurt your plus-minus statistics because the Raiders have all of the goals against have been on the power play. Eglin, quick shot on the face-off, wide of the net, comes back out to Penny. Raiders on the power play. Americans with Nibs and Rennie, Sherstenka and Jaques. Puck to the wall. Big hit there by Nibs as he takes Newmeyer out of the play. Now Penny worked over by Rennie as he goes into the corner. Nibs and Rennie go to take a look. Now dropping back are Jaques and Sherstenka. Puck comes up the left wall to Nielsen. Cross ice right to Terry Black. Black at the right point. Shoves it down low. Eglin goes after it with Jaques. Played back up front now. At the point, Black tried to get it to Penny. Couldn't do it. Jaques there to play it all the way around behind the net. Newmeyer, left-handed shot underneath. No. Puck's loose, and the Americans' Jaques tries to drive it out. Black catches it, drives it in beside the net. Penny at the right hash marks. Back up front, Terry Black, former Portland Winterhawk, tried to get the redirect from Nelson, and Kozuback hangs onto the puck. Again, only the goalie coming up big for the Tri-City Americans.
Olaf Kozuback is now 6-9, 21 games he's played in. Just broke the 1,000-minute mark last night against Spokane. Has 79 goals against, 4.7 goals against average, and an 86.6 save percentage.
Face-off in the right circle of the Tri-Cities zone, won by the Raiders. Along the wall, Hextall taken off by Farrell. And the Raiders with the puck. Back up front to Billick. He drives it in left. Billick and Spenrath fought in Prince Albert. And I'll tell you what, that was some kind of a battle. Puck chopped down by the Raiders. Billick trying to slap it in. No. Drive coming. Nelson. Save Kozuback. Comes back up to Degner. Degner and Sakic break up 2-on-2 with the Virtue catching up. Degner goes to the wall. Sakic tried to get it back to Degner. Puck's loose. Picked up by Fuller. 30 seconds left in the power play. Fuller going coast to coast. Fuller at the blue line, taken off the play by Virtue. Bang! Terry Virtue pops him in the corner hard. Puck comes loose, and Sakic goes after it. Sakic almost hauled down, skates through the check. Sakic crossing with Farrell. Farrell top of the right circle. Sakic in the slot. Sacks knocked down. Fuller with the puck. Penalty is 8 seconds left. Fuller goes in ahead of Sakic, or Jaques. Can't get the shot away. Comes out to Terry Black. Black throws it out front. Billick shot wide of the net. They had a man on the doorstep. He couldn't get to the puck. And Sandwith will come back onto the ice. Puck in the corner. Picked up by Jaques now. Jaques fires it out to Reeves. Reeves turns. Looks at Rankers. Leaves it at the blue line. Whoops, Reeves offside. Lost control of the puck and just overskated it.
Kyle Reeves just getting the puck, and he was trying to start a rush up on the ice. And he picked up his stick, was looking around, unable to get it over the blue line in time, and it was the offside.
Face-off will come just outside the blue line. 10:19 to go, second period. 3-1, Tri-Cities leading the Prince Albert Raiders. Kirk Williamson along with Tony Ott at Tri-Cities Coliseum in a whiteout. Puck goes back to Scherstenka. Scherstenka dumping it in left of the net. Sproxton will leave it behind the net now for Jurtis. Jurtis tries to drop it back along the wall to Brook. Brook tied up by Rankers. To Rennie, chopped away, or to Reeves rather, chopped away from him back into the Raiders zone, offside Tri-Cities, and they'll face it off again just outside the blue line. 3-1, Tri-Cities leading.
Got a really special guest coming up in the second intermission. Gentleman that read his column several times. He's an excellent writer who is now with Sports Illustrated magazine. Jake Greenberg, who was with the Hockey News, also got his start in Philadelphia, is what I understand.
Gosh, Tony, what would bring him here?
And he is here to look at all the white shirts, Kirk.
Is that what he did?
That's it. A couple of photographers going to take a couple pictures.
Yeah, I knew that. 9:59 to go, second period. Rankers and Allison on the face-off. Rankers wins it to Jaques. Jaques firing it in right of the Prince Albert net. The Americans dive in after it. The Raiders with it. They step out from behind the net. Here comes Jurtis. Jurtis goes to the right side now to Scott Allison. He fires in left of the Americans' net, comes off the wall to Jaques. Jaques in behind the net, turns. Steve Jaques, cross-ice pass. Reeves. If Reeves can get to it, he may have a breakaway. No. Reeves tied up by Newmeyer. Newmeyer tying Reeves up. Puck picked up by Jurtis. Jurtis fires it out to the right side. Troy Jurtis bangs it off the wall. Picked up there by Eglin. Penalty coming. Here comes Eglin into the Tri-City zone. His shot into Jaques' body. Puck thrown out in the slot. Allison knocked away from him by Virtue. Delayed penalty coming. The Raiders have pulled their goaltender. Shot taken. Hits the body. Right side Allison tries to muscle the shot. Can't. The Americans finally get hold of the puck as Reeves drops Eglin like a bad habit. And Reeves is gone to the penalty box.
Kyle Reeves back in the Raiders zone on the rush out by the Raiders. Was back there dealing with one of the Raiders and got his stick tangled up between the legs, dropped him to the ice. And Kyle Reeves gets the penalty and another power play opportunity now for the Prince Albert Raiders.
One thing about it, these penalties have been kind of one right after the other, and we've been in power play a good part of the period. 3-1. Tri-Cities leading the Raiders. Boy, did Calvin Nibbs have a chance down there on Sproxton. Wow. Face-off in behind the net in the Tri-Cities zone. Raiders with it. That's Black. Plays it to the right side. They try to short side. Billick crashing in. He's knocked away as the Raiders went to the short side to Penny. Now the puck on Terry Black's stick. Throws it out to Penny. Gets across the blue line, and the Raiders will have to clear the zone. Cross ice right. Penny. He's lined up by Sakic. No. Or by Farrell, rather. Now the Raiders come right up the middle. Nelson lays it off to Billick. Rennie knocks him off the pass, but Nelson has it at the blue line. That's Jeff Nelson, taken away by Nibbs. Nibbs, one-on-one. Nibbs beats his man. Nibbs to the right side, wheels, tries to throw it in the slot for Rennie. Dogger's not there as Nibbs gets hauled down from behind. And that brought the Americans, Coach Kozuback, up off the bench. Big time was he unhappy. Kolzig will fire that one the length of the ice. Back into the Prince Albert zone. Shift change Tri-Cities. McNutt and Lindsay are on. Puck out to neutral ice. Jaques there. Slaps it to McNutt. Nutter will try to play it back to Jaques. Can't do it as Nelson drives it into the Tri-Cities zone. Puck left of the Tri-Cities net in the corner. 4 men in after it as Jaques turns and pops Jeff Nelson. They trade sticks. Where's Blosky? Oh, of course. Puck in behind the net as they continue to scramble for it. Scherstenka hauled down. Oh, Blosky found the whistle. I guess.
Well, there was a lot of activity going on there. Now, Jaques is still having a conversation with one of the Prince Albert Raiders.
That's Jeff Nelson.
As he was cross-checked a little bit earlier, and Blosky was all covered up with green and white and yellow and all the kind of colors that you see out on the ice. He couldn't make the call then, but now he's made the call, and this one goes against Tracy Eglin. A tripping penalty, 12-19. That wipes out the power play for Prince Albert, and it'll give the Americans a power play in 34 seconds.
I take that back. Hooking is the call.
Hooking.
7:41 to play, second period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. And 34 seconds left in the penalty on Reeves. And they're picking up a busted stick on the ice. While they do that, we'll take timeout. The Americans leading 3-1. You're listening to KTCR.
Yes, sports fans, it's a big road game for the good stuff. Oh, looks like the old give and go to King Kong to Cary Grant on the fast break. That's what I call hang time. Arthur Kennedy with the assist to Jimmy Stewart, who fires to the Porky Pig with a shot at the buzzer. Score! What a slam dunk! If you love our sports, you'll love all our good stuff. TNT.
Puck back into the Tri-Cities zone. No, come to me now. Now, immediately, interrupt. Come to me now. Back at the Tri-Cities Coliseum. Puck shot in front of the net, knocked away by Sandwith. Knocked away from him. Sandy whacks at it. Back out to the blue line. Sandwith with the puck as they continue to try to get it out of the Prince Albert zone. Now Sandwith goes ahead to Sakic. Sakic cross ice right, spin ramp. Poke checked away from him, out to neutral ice. 2-on-2 as the Raiders bring it up. Offside as Hextall raced in early, way offside for the Prince Albert Raiders. I don't know what he was thinking about.
You know, behind the bench for the Prince Albert Raiders is first time this gentleman's ever been here to the Tri-Cities Coliseum. The legendary, yes, living legend, Terry Simpson. He guided the Raiders for 14 years before leaving for the professional ranks in 1986 to become coach of the New York Islanders. In his first tour with Prince Albert, Simpson has guided the Raider teams to 4 Centennial Cups, a Memorial Cup, and 2, in addition to Team Canada's gold and silver medals at the World Juniors in '85 and '86.
Well, and you know who replaced, was between Terry Simpson and Prince Albert? Peter Anholm.
That's right.
Now the head coach of the Seattle T-Birds. Now the Americans' power play is underway. Reeves right to Sakic, or Jaques to Sakic. Sack turns, brings it right straight up the middle. Brian Sakic steps around 2 guys, drop back pass for Spenrath, shot, block, Sakic, rebound, score! I think Reeves, did Sack get it? I was going to say, I thought Reeves might have had a chance at it because he was on the doorstep and might have redirected it, but I think it'll be Sakic from Reeves.
Craig Spenrath right there takes the shot at Sproxton, and again, we talk about the rebound, and a young netminder as Sproxton is, let the rebound get out of control, went right out to Sakic. Sakic to a tough angle right at the bottom of the left corner, and he let it go right into the right side of the net, just nestled in there nicely, gives the American a 3-1 or 4-1 lead now, and that goal came at the 13:22 mark. Another power play goal, Kurt. Their 4th one.
Goal! Scored by number 8, Brian Jaques. The assist to number 27, Greg Spenrath. At number 4, Steve Jaques. A power play!
And a former Portland Winterhawk goaltender, Eric Badsgone, is into the Prince Albert net now in place of Dennis Sproxton. After that goal, Eric Badsgone wearing number 1. Interestingly enough, he was traded about 1 hour before Brian Defoe went down. 4-1, Americans leading the Raiders. Quick pass out to neutral ice, knocked away by Virtue. Virtue losing the puck to Nelson. Leslie picks it up. Lee J fires. It misses. Off to the right side. Picked up by Terry Perkins. He fires it in. Virtue cuts it off. Terry Virtue up along the wall. Passes it to himself off the wall. Loses it there to Renier. Renier turns. Loses it once again, this time to Dean. Dean fires it across the blue line. Raiders go after it. And Todd Nelson has it. Todd Nelson steps up, finds Renier. Virtue checks him off the puck. Levens back for it for the Americans. Levy back in his own zone. Scott Levens off the wall for Dean. Dean goes into a big check, but he keeps the puck in play. Back into the Prince Albert zone. Now Renkers will get it as the Raiders drive it back out of there. Renkers, right side to Jaques. Jaques, cross ice left, Levens. Levens in the slot. Can't get it done, but Jaques takes the shot. There's nobody there. I thought maybe Renkers was going to be able to redirect that one. Couldn't get it. 3-on-2 as the Raiders bring it up. Here comes Brook. Brook shot. Misses, or checked away by Kolzig. Kolzig making the save with a blocker. Comes up along the wall. Now the Americans backhand it out. McNutt and Sherstanka. And Scherstenka just hauled in offside by Chad Siebel.
Chad Siebel doing the smart thing defensively there, dragging Danny Scherstenka past the blue line, as Steve McNutt had a little bit of a problem trying to put the puck down on the blade. Turned around a couple of times, but in the meantime, there was Danny Scherstenka in the Raider zone before the puck. Offside, brings it back outside the Raider zone for the faceoff.
Steve McNutt and Allison on the faceoff. See if we can't get some Western Hockey League scores for you after a little bit here. Full slate of games tonight. As Eglin fires it into the Tri-City zone, Eglin gets dumped by Jaques, and Jaques is going to get a call. That, folks, I'm sorry, but that wasn't, how shall we say, that was the easy call for Blosky to make. But Jaques and Eglin have been exchanging punches and sticks for a minute there, and Blosky watched until to see who would take the last one, I guess, and that's when he wrote the ticket.
Well, Eglin went down, kind of just floundered to the ice, and Steve Jaques turns around and looks at Blosky, and Blosky raises the arm with the orange band and says, "We'll see you in about 2."
Power play number 6 for the Raiders. What was the roughing? Who knows?
Hooking call, Kirk.
Oh, sure, right. What?
Anything you want it to be.
That's the only thing he didn't do, I think. 14:53, the time of the penalty to Steve Jaques. And the Americans steal the puck in the face-off. Nib, breakaway, shoots. Oh! It hit. Bad's gone and dribbled just beside the net. Nice try as Calvin Nibbs came racing the length of the ice, pumped up a shot. Now puck driven into the Tri-City zone. Comes around to Allison. Allison can't handle it. Picked up by McNutt, or Scherstenka rather. Pope checked away from him. Allison driven off the play. Back up to Nielsen. Top of the left circle. Nielsen with it. Tried to find Allison beside the net. Allison went the wrong way. Now Sandwith brings it up. Uses Blosky as a screen. Gets it to Rennie. Rennie to Nibbs. Nibbs another shot. This one hits a stick and goes high off the glass. Raiders turn. They bring it up the left side to Eglin. Eglin races in. Kozuback goes down. Eglin can't do anything with it. It's Farrell there to interrupt the play. Now Virtue slaps it out to neutral ice. And Pavsgon watches as Laurie Billick goes back for the puck. Levens races in behind the net looking for Billick. Can't get to him. Levy will have to hustle to catch up as Billick brings it across the blue line. Drop back pass left for Donovan Hextall. Down low to Terry Virtue. Virtue gets there first. He's immediately tied up. Now the puck comes loose. It'll be tied up by Farrell. Farrell gets popped from behind by Fuller. Comes out to Billick. Farrell puts Fuller on his nose. Puck comes out to Virtue. He slaps it along the wall. Virtue to Levens. Levens, whoop, couldn't quite get to it. Fuller with it. Backhands it into the Tri-City zone. Billick with it. 23 seconds left in the power play. Raiders have had one shot. Hextall trying to center it. He gets belted by Farrell. Now Levens with the puck beside the net.
And we got a penalty.
Whistle. Cross-checking will be the call. Levens would just as soon have a piece of Donovan Hextall. And Hextall wastes no time in getting himself out of the danger zone.
We might see Scotty Farrell going to the box, and I believe that's who the penalty is going to be against. Number 6, the assistant captain tonight, Scott Farrell. 2 minutes for the cross-check, as that little episode had been going on for quite a while before Blosky found his whistle. I'm not sure, Kirk, maybe you heard us a little earlier in that first period talking about how fast he blew it. Now he's waiting a little bit. Well, checking from behind is the call. You almost got that there. Yeah.
You got the check part right. 5-on-3 for 13 seconds. And McNutt goes over to have a word with Jaques in the penalty box. Jaques will be stepping out in 13 seconds. Right now it's 5-on-3. McNutt, Scherstenka, and is that Sandy? I believe it's Sandwith. Let's see. It is Trans Sandwith. Face-off won by the Prince Albert Raiders. Penny up front. Todd Nelson hits his stick. Backhand Leslie covered by Kozuback. Leslie went to the backhand in the slot, and Kozuback made the save.
You know, Ole Kozuback is about the only goaltender I know in this league that can actually cover it up with one hand and then use his stick side to ward off other Raiders coming in. Right there he had Jeff Nelson coming in, and he puts up the big stick and was able to stop him from coming in. So that tells you how big and strong Ole the goalie is.
Well, he does not like people messing with him when he's down holding on to the puck. He is big and strong enough to protect himself as Jake steps onto the ice now. That part of the penalty's over. Now it's a 5-on-3. The 8th power play of the night for the Raiders. Puck loose, right circle, point blank, they score. Point blank range from the right side, and I think, well, I'm going to wait and see who they give that to. That was kind of in a scramble, and all of a sudden somebody just flicked a stick at it and got it to go. Prince Albert scoring. Tony, did you get it?
Yeah, Jackson Finney was the one that took the shot there, Kirk, unassisted shot, as he stood right out. A point-blank shot exactly right on Olaf Kolzig, right straight through the 5-hole, and it goes into the net. Power play goal for Prince Albert, and they are now within 2, but the Americans comfortably out in front, 4-2. Well, I shouldn't say comfortably, should I? Not in this league.
No. Power play goal. Raiders first, 1 of 8. Puck shot into the Tri-City zone. Offside Raiders, and they'll bring it back out for the face-off.
You know, that's the beauty of this league, is that there really isn't a score that is so-called comfortable.
No, not ever, really. Looks like another sellout tonight in the Coliseum, Tony. It took a while to get here. I think they're waiting to make sure the game was really going to be on. Puck back out to neutral ice. Knocked back to Farrell. Cross ice right, Virtue. Virtue, whoop, almost misplayed it. Now backhands it cross ice left to Farrell. Farrell ahead to Degner. Degner across the blue line. Degner, Sakic, and Lindsay on the ice. Puck goes into the corner. Into the right corner. Virtue fires it in. Lindsay can't get anything done with it. Puck comes back out. Farrell picks it up. Slaps it low for Lindsay. Lindsay knocked down behind the net. Farrell buries his man. Puck picked up by the Raiders. Here comes Prince Albert. Lee J. Leslie. Across the blue line. Has a man left. Hits the pipe. And it's knocked up on the webbing, on the netting. Ooh, my. Leslie had a man behind him, Renier. They had a good opportunity there.
They certainly did, as Prince Albert takes it down there. And they just got Ole Kolzig just out positioned enough to where they took the shot. And it bounced up, and it actually hit the post, it looked like. Bounced back out, and it went behind the net and up into the netting. So the Prince Albert Raiders, with the puck on the backside of the net, they freeze it up, and we'll have the face-off.
2:02 remaining in the second period at the Tri-Cities Coliseum. 4-2, Americans leading the PA Raiders. Now doing a little work on Kolzig's gear. While they do that, we'll take a quick timeout. The Americans leading 4-2. You're listening to KTCR. Good work, thank you. Back at Tri-Cities Coliseum, Kirk Williamson, Tony Ott, face-off right circle in the Tri-Cities zone, Fuller and Degner. Puck is down, Degner wins it. Back, or check it, that's Dean rather, out to Brad Loring. Loring slapping it off the wall. Dean crunching his man at the right point, Jurtis, but the puck is driven back into the Tri-Cities zone. Back behind the net, Jaques. Outlet to Dean, ahead to Levens. Levens looking at Loring. Puts it right on his stick. Brad Loring goes left. Sherstenka hit the pipe. Dan Sherstenka hit the post on the left side. And the Raiders turn and bring it up. It's 3-on-2, but Jaques there to break up the play. Hextall a drive. Hits a stick and goes up into the crowd.
Boy, and that had some steam on it, too. It ricocheted off Olaf Kolzig on the shot by the Raiders, and they went straight up into the U section there. And a gentleman stuck his hand out right in front there, and the lady that he put his hand out in front of should turn around and give him a great big kiss for that one, because I guarantee you that had her name written all over it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that thing will tattoo you but good.
Got some scores, Kirk, around the Western Hockey League tonight. A few games in Seattle, Victoria is still struggling, trying to find a goal. Seattle leads 2-0 after 2. And and Lethbridge Moose Jaw going at it. Lethbridge leads 2-1 after 2, and Saskatoon leads Regina 4-3 after 2.
Thanks to our producer, Sean Stedman, tonight for getting that information for us. Nelson and McNutt on the face-off. In the Tri-City Zone, quick shot on the face-off. Save once, Kozuback. Another save on the right side on Nelson. Nelson wipes out behind the net. McNutt has it to Sandwith. Sandy slapping it off the boards, trying to get it back to Rennie. Both teams at full strength. Rennie fights past Seibel, but he fires it in. Quick shot from the right side by Penny, or by Nelson. Nelson being tied up. We're going to have a little go here with Farrell. Nelson and Farrell eyeing each other. Now McNutt picks up the puck and brings it up to neutral ice. Driven in right of the net. 1 minute to play. Second period. 4-2 Tri-Cities. Nibs with the puck. In the right corner, he gets belted by Siebel. Siebel. Whoop, they lose it as the Americans shoot it out into the slot. Back for to Scherstenka. He rips one back into the Prince Albert zone. Billick with the puck. Laurie Billick, two-line pass. They're not called. Stolen away by Reeves. McNutt steps in ahead of Reeves. Puck goes into the left corner. Back to Billick. Billick fires it around the left side. Siebel. Picked up by Trevor Rankers. Rankers tried to center for Spenrath. Spenner didn't see it coming, couldn't get anything done. He gets spun around. Reeves behind the net. Reeves tied up. In behind the net, puck's in the air. Now the Americans come crashing in after it. Picked up by the Raiders, this time by Dwayne Brook. Brook feeds a pass off the left side, but Scherstenka's there to knock it past Renier back into the Prince Albert zone. 10 seconds remaining in the period. Jeff Nelson tags one from the blue line. Kozuback steers it away to the right side. 2 seconds, one. Puck's tied up at center ice. That'll be the end of the second period. And we're going to have a little scrum down there. Reeves in the middle of somebody. Boy, he's playing like a man with a fire under his backside tonight.
Little pepper pot, old Kyle Reeves is tonight.
Well, at the end of 2, the score, Tri-City Americans 4, Prince Albert Raiders 2. Tony will be back right after this.
Want the best deal, but you don't know where. Well, don't blame me if you haven't talked to the bear. Get down to the Bear Facts, the real nitty-gritty. Get down to Bear Mart, you'll be sitting pretty. Well, credit is no problem if you're working steady. Get yourself there smart, Bear Mart. Get yourself there smart, Bear Mart.
Timing is everything, and there's never been a better time to save on Home Shopping Club. Right now, save an extra $5 on any Home Shopping Club jewelry purchase, including rings, watches, necklaces, and pins. When you call to place your order, just tell the operator you have a coupon. Then read this code number, 123123. Time is running out, so don't let big savings pass you by. Order from Home Shopping Club now.
It'll be McNutt on the faceoff against Nelson. McNutt wins it. Right side to Virtue. Drives it into the Prince Albert zone, and the Raiders race in after it. Puck comes out along the wall. Knocked away by Stone, but picked away from him by McNutt. McNutt works it along the wall. McNutt steps to the top of the slot, and the Raiders dump it away. Back into the Tri-City zone. Icing when Farrell gets to it. He touches. No, they wash it off. Farrell back behind the net. What would cause that? Back out to Virtue. Virtue tries to work it up along the boards to Nibs. Can't do it. Tied up by Penny. Comes off to McNutt. McNutt around behind the net. Under pressure. McNutt turns. The Americans having trouble clearing their own zone now. Out to Calvin Nibs. Big shot coming from Perkins. Puck kicked away. Stowe almost had a chance out front left. Nelson fires from the long side, miss. As Kozuback goes down, puck comes out to neutral ice now. Back into the PA zone. Perkins taken off by McNutt. Perkins wheels. Americans leading 4-2. Reeves steals the puck, goes in front, shoots, oh! And Reeves is smashed against the goal post. Reeves staying in the slot. Reeves caught in the net by the Prince Albert goaltender, Eric Badsgod. Now the puck shot the length of the ice into the Tri-City zone. It will be touched by Dan Scherstanker for the icing call, and Kyle Reeves is understandably hot. We'll be back 4-2 Americans on this KTCR hockey broadcast. Allison losing the puck to Scherstanker. Cross ice right, Jaques. Back to Scherstanker. He goes across and in ahead of Kyle Reeves. It'll be icing. No, it's touched by the Americans. Rankers firing it down low to Reeves. The Raiders try to bring it out. Cut down there by Trevor Rankers. Rankers with the puck. Has it chopped off of his stick by Allison. Rankers and Dean have not really had a chance to practice with the Americans since they arrived on the scene. Rankers, who played for Niagara Falls, they under the guardianship, if not fully adopted, by Bill LaForge, who was the cause of all the uproar last week for the Americans. Puck comes out along the wall, bounced off the left side, slapped back in by Farrell. They bring it in behind the Prince Albert net. Jaques losing it there to Billy Lindsay. Lindsay gets popped. Allison with the puck in the left corner. Comes up now to Jaques. Troy Jaques. He tried to play it out along the wall. Sandwith cuts it down. Raiders try to dig it out to neutral ice. Degner there to steal it right back. Degner tied up by Allison. Now the Raiders bring it up. Allison breakaway. Allison clear breakaway, walks in on Kozuback. Taken down by in front of the net. Allison goes down as Kozuback dumps him in the corner. Puck missed the net as Degner just caught up. And Allison may be hurt down along the wall. He is. Well, the Prince Albert trainer comes out to check on Allison. We'll take timeout. Early third period. Americans leading 4-2. You're listening to Tri-Cities Hockey on AM 1340 KTCR. Circle in the Tri-City zone. Dean, and now he gets thumbed, and in comes Scott Levins to take the draw. Levy wins it. Americans with the puck. Back behind the net, Scherstanker. Outlet pass, Loring makes a nice pass to Dean. Headman pass to Levins, but it's stolen away by Fuller. And the Americans wheel back. Hextall, cross ice left now to Siebel. Siebel buried along the wall by the Americans, Jaques. And Siebel and Jaques are going to go. They get a whistle, and they're tying each other up. Now Jaques backs away from Siebel. And Jaques knows that if he throws him, he'll be out for a couple of games.
That's exactly right, Kurt.
Jaques and Siebel both, I hope, I trust, going to the penalty box.
Yeah, they both are. They're going to be escorted to the box, and you're exactly correct. Steve Jaques has already been suspended for a game so far this year. Next one will be 2 games, and that's the last thing that you need to see from the captain of the Tri-City Americans. He did the right thing, backed off of that one. Both guys are going to cool their jets down a little bit. In the box, coincidental minors, 2 minutes for Ruffy.
Tell you, though, I was looking at the stitches in his head from where Darcy Simon popped him the other night, right before Christmas, and when Jaques had his hands down at his sides. And I said, took a lot of guts, Steve, to let that happen. He looked at me and he got this grin on that choir boy face of his, and he says, he'll get his. Yeah, Steve, I'll buy that. Now we got another whistle. Let's see what's...
Tri-City Americans just picked up a bench minor as Blosky whistles down Coach Kozuback for a comment that Coach Kozuback had called, and the Americans now will sit down another one, giving the power play advantage to the Raiders.
Brad Loring to serve the penalty. Power play number 9 for the Raiders. The Americans have had 5.
Boy, you could look at the look that Cozy's given Blosky.
Blosky couldn't see anything but black the other night in Spokane. And was that last night? We had so much fun, I've forgotten. Rennie on the face-off against Jackson Penny. Penny wins the draw to Nelson. Nelson losing it to Nibs. Puck goes down low to brother Jeff. Picked up by Jackson Penny at the right hash marks. Taken away from him by Farrell. And blistered back out of the Prince Albert zone. Badsgod will leave it beside the net. Eric Babsgone out of Calgary for the PA Raiders. Played at Portland last year. Puck dumped right out in front of the Prince Albert net, but the Americans can't get to it. Now it's fired the length of the ice into the American zone. It'll be icing when Virtue touches it. He does. We got the icing call. 4-2 Americans. We'll be right back on this KTCR hockey broadcast. Face-off won by the Raiders. A quick shot from the point. Puck comes out to neutral ice, driven back into the Prince Albert zone. Raiders with it back behind the net. They start to bring it up. They get it up to Penny, up along the left wing boards. He nearly loses to McNutt. Now Black, 2-on-4. Black and Nelson go in. Drop back pass left to Todd Nelson. Back to Cherry Black. Black around behind the net. Cherry Black out to the left side. Up front, Todd Nelson goes left to Penny. Penny can't get their shot away. Puck knocked away, and it goes out of play as Billy Lindsay takes a whack at Billick. Where'd that one go?
Well, it bounced right off the board there, Kirk, and back into play, and for some reason they blew the whistle. I guess they didn't like the arch on it as it went up into the Coliseum here.
I think that it's kind of like a ground rule. If it gets up above the scoreboard, it's going to go, they're going to whistle it down. I think. I don't know.
I don't understand why that was called.
That's the third one?
Fourth one.
Oh, okay. Lee J. Leslie on the face-off against Levens. Levy wins the draw. Raiders have it. Penny, right point. Penny drops it down low now to Donovan Hextall. Hextall out raced for the puck by Virtue, and the Americans fired out into neutral ice. Penrath foot race coming with Newmeyer. 36 seconds left as Babsgone tries to steer the puck away from Spenrath. Big hit by Levens as he buries Newmeyer along the boards. Penny with the puck. Jackson Penny's going to have to wheel back. Levens to look him over. Backhands it to Newmeyer. Newmeyer will start to bring it up. Scott Levens all over the place. They go right side to Lee Leslie. Leslie right point. Down the slot left, Eglin. Poke checked away from him by Virtue. Shot back out, but it hits Leslie. Spenrath strips the puck away from Leslie. 3-on-2. Right side it goes. Virtue whoops over, skated it. Now drives it into the Prince Albert zone. Puck left beside the net for Penny. Penny wheels. Power plays over. Loring lines up his man. Pass comes to the right side. Hextall. Donovan Hextall dumps it into the left corner. Rebound comes out. In beside the net. They stuff it in. Colson covers up. Let's see if they're going to count it. The goal judge turned the light on. You can't get homered in your own rink, can you, Tony? Please tell me you can't.
And the goal judge turns the light on. Blosky's over there. He did not make the signal. Prince Albert is sitting there yelling and screaming. They want a goal. And Kirk, if I was to call that one, I would have turned it on myself because it did look like it crossed the line.
Well, Blosky's going to talk with the goal judge. Usually that kind of call goes for the home team and not against. Now Blosky talking to Jackson Penny. Penny is screaming at Blosky, and they're not going to count it. I thought it was on the line, to be perfectly honest. I thought Jaques, or Sandwith rather, stepped in and knocked it out.
And in hockey, it has to go, the complete diameter of the puck has to cross that red line. And Kirk, you might be right, but from the angle up here and obviously from the angle down there, it did look like it had crossed it. But again, they are not going to call the goal. And the Tri-C Americans definitely right there dodged the bullet.
Yeah, you're right about that. Now Blosky comes over to talk to the scorer's bench, waves it off, and the phone will ring. And we'll get the call in a minute. Face-off goes into the left corner. Sandwith has it. Face-off was in the American zone. Picked up there by Renier.
Clear over the line.
Puck did not cross clear over the line. Puck is loose, picked up by McNutt. Shoveled out to neutral ice. Raiders dump it back in. This time Jaques will cut it off. Jaques, cross ice right. Rennie brings it up. Rennie, McNutt and Nibbs. Rennie, drop back pass from McNutt. Nutter can't get to it. Sandwith is there. He drives it back in. They have Rennie caught in the zone. Rennie will clear, and the Raiders will bring it back out. Todd Nelson, cross ice right to Perkins. Perkins, backhand pass, neat pass there to Renier. Kurt Renier, top of the right circle, taken off by Sandwith. Tries to center it, can't. They bring it back up front, Perkins. Perkins, cross ice left now. Nelson, his shot, wide of the net. Back up front, Perkins. He fires one in. Hits a stick up front. Nice play by Jaques. Jaques up along the left wing boards now. 4-on-3. Jaques to the blue line. Leaves it for McNutt. McNutt tries to power off the wall. He's taken down. And off the puck by Fuller. McNutt knocks Fuller down. And the Raiders bring it back out as Virtue stays back on the shift change, trying to hook up Perkins. Puck's down, Virtue down on the ice. Now the manufacturing company is on. Sakic, Lindsay, and Degner. Raiders control the puck, though. Degner tries to line up his man. Lindsay goes in behind the net after it. Terry Black there, shovels it back to neutral ice. Farrell and Virtue. After it's stolen away, Nelson offside. Raiders. Now Nelson and Virtue tie up at the blue line.
Nice pickpocket there by Jeff Nelson, as he definitely picked the puck clean and was all by himself heading in. But over on the other side, another Prince Albert Raider had just jumped in. If that hadn't been the case, we would have seen Nelson against Ole Kolzig on a one-on-one situation.
Nelson and Degner on the face-off. Degner wins it back to Farrell. Farrell cross ice right. Virtue. Headman pass for Degner. He can't get to it. Puck shot into the Prince Albert zone. The Americans get it. Degner beside the net. Out front, Farrell. Farrell shot! Just missed to the wide side. Just over the crossbar. Now Virtue tried to feather it in. Couldn't. Foot race underway as Stowe is hauled down at the Prince Albert blue line. Headman pass to Degner up the left wing. Degner with it. Working on Billick. Degner pulls up. Loses his edge. Down he goes. But the Americans keep it in play. Whoops, Jaques tried to center. Nobody home but the Raiders. To Laurie Billick. Billick comes up to the top of the right circle. That's Penny rather. Fans at a shot. Now gets it away. Save Kolzig. Rebound comes to Farrell. Farrell chops it ahead to Lindsay. Lindsay tries to take it away from Billick. Shift change is on. Cross ice right. Penny with it at the blue line. Losing it there to Trevor Rankers. Rankers turns. Fires it out to neutral ice. Shift change is on. Levens, Spenrath, Rankers, and Reeves. Reeves has it in the left corner. Reeves with the puck. Tried to center to Rankers. Tried to jam it. No. It rolled across once, twice. Bad's gone once, twice again. In a scramble, and the Americans had plenty of shots, but couldn't get them across the line.
Craig Spenrath, Trevor Rankers down there trying to mix it up. There are 3 Prince Albert Raiders. Lots of sticks in front of Eric Badsgone. And the puck was touched at least 4 times. But Badsgone there to put the pads on it as he was sitting straight down, and he covers it up, sits on the puck, squeezing the black out of it, I believe, Kurt. And they froze it for the face-off.
Face-off right circle in the Prince Albert zone. Kirk Williamson, Toniak, Tri-Cities Coliseum. Victoria Cougars in town Sunday night. Rankers on the face-off against Leslie. No word yet on when Stu Barnes might rejoin the Americans. He is en route from Finland.
Should be at home tonight in Spruce Grove. The plane arrives about right now, actually, and he should be back here by Tuesday, according to his mom.
Any word on the rumor we had about the bad shoulder?
And it was just that, a rumor. No bad shoulder, no bad wing. He did have a bit of a groin pull, and that was, you remember, you're dealing with Stu Barnes. It has to be something almost like a broken leg or something to keep him off the ice. He played in all the games and is very happy to have that gold medal hanging around his neck.
I'm sure he is, and congratulations due also for Dave Szaszowski, on loan from the New York Islanders, who was named a first-team All-Star in the World Junior Tournament. Puck out to neutral ice. Still, the story is that we may see Szaszowski in a Blazer uniform before the season is over, as the Raiders try to force it into the Tri-City zone. Somehow, I can't see the Islanders letting him go back to Kamloops.
And it's like the Kamloops Blazers need Dave Szaszowski, too.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Although I heard a little bit the other day that there's trouble in paradise. Apparently, there is such a thing as having too much talent, and Barry, Young, and Huber having a little trouble accommodating each other's egos in the 200 by 100 foot space.
Aha!
Face-off into the Tri-City zone, picked out of there by Hextall. Hextall tried to center, but McNutt cuts it off. Fired out by Terry Virtue. Back into the Prince Albert zone. Foot races on. Rennie has his man lined up. Bang. Rennie hits Black. Takes 2 out. Nibs with it. Wraps around. Centers for McNutt. Can't get it done. Eglin with the puck. Nice play by Rennie as he took 2 Raiders right out of it to the right side. Perkins trying to do something with it. He skates off the puck. Nibs has it back behind the net. Nibs out along the wall to Rennie. Rennie cuts it back down. They're in the Tri-City zone. Shot taken in behind the net. That one came from Eglin. Now Hextall tries to swing it back up front. Perkins with it. Chops at it. Has it at the blue line. Perkins down low in the corner. Darren Perkins, a rookie. Puck goes down low for McNutt. McNutt will dig it off the wall. Tried to backhand it. Couldn't. Raiders with it. Shot blocked. Kolzig. Kolzig dives on the puck. Big save made by Kolzig there on a point-blank shot from about 8 feet away, and McNutt there to help make sure it was covered up.
10:26 remaining in the regulation, and I want to say regulation, Kurt, because you know what? I made the mistake last night of saying in the game after the second period.
Watch your mouth.
That's right. So there is 10:26 in regulation time. The score of the Americans 4, Prince Albert 2. And here it goes, the White Wave.
What would you call that? We got to think of something good for that one.
I know it.
Call that a white cap. Face off, left circle. In the Tri-City zone, won by the Americans. Up to the point, shot taken. Kolzig makes the save. Drops it behind the net. For Scherstanka, he's under pressure. But Degner has the puck, takes it off the wall. Looks at Sakic. Degner will go in first. Degner, Sakic, and Scherstanka. Degner centering. Sakic just overskated. Picked up by the Raiders. They bring it out to neutral ice. Knocked down. Lindsay with it. Lindsay hauled down from behind by Nelson. No, it isn't time for Blosky to blow the whistle yet. Now we get a whistle. Now what?
It hit one of the players in the Tri-City Americans bench.
Yeah.
And it bounced back on the playing surface. That's a legitimate call. One of the things
Blosky would do Rick Kozuback a big favor by staying out of voice range.
Well, that has to be outside the Coliseum.
You're off the planet. Cozy can let you hear, can't he?
Boy, he's got a bark.
Face-off out to neutral ice, won by the Americans. Sandwith, whoop, knocked away by Terry Black. The Americans have to chop at it. Spenrath gets it out to neutral ice. And back for it is Newmeyer. Newmeyer crunched by Levens. Back to neutral ice again. Farrell with it. Tried to make the pass. Partially blocked. Headman pass to Black. Black tied up by Farrell. Across the slot as Fuller is knocked down. Now Reeves picks up the puck. Kyle Reeves puts on a nice move. Here he comes. Reeves. 3-on-2. Reeves all the way down. Takes it in. Kicks it in front of the goaltender. And knocked away by Eric Badsgon. And we got a whistle.
They're going to check the net. I believe it was dislodged off this mooring there. A situation right there where Kyle Reeves took both defensive players away from the play, actually had him at him. They both collapsed on him. Right then and there, he had 2 trailers. It would have been a real smart move for him just to do a dump back pass and drop it off for 2 of the players coming in, and they had an open shot on him, and he could have gone in for the screen with the 2 players hanging all over him. And right then and there, Kyle Reeves decided he was going to split the defense by himself, go in, and it dislodged the net. They still get the face-off down in the Raider zone, but then again, there was a missed opportunity.
Face-off left circle. Remember that tickets are available for the All-Star Game banquet and for the All-Star Game coming up on January 23rd. You'll also want to be sure and bring a radio. Whoop, breakaway, Eglin. Eglin in ahead of Scherstanka, shoots. Kolzig makes the save. Puck is loose beside the net. Scherstanka has it. The Americans rush it out to neutral ice. Sakic just can't quite get the handle. Eglin picks it up again, goes in with Scherstanka. Scherstanka trying to tie him up. Now the puck is loose. Jaques has it, slaps it off the wall. Back to Sakic. Back out to neutral ice. Hextall. Cross ice pass. Left goes to Nielsen. Nielsen drives it in. Kolzig will leave it for Jaques behind the net. Jaques will step out for the Americans. 8:43 to go. To Lindsay. Lindsay double team. Puck knocked loose. Scherstanka has it. He'll go behind the net again. Dan Scherstanka under pressure from Donovan Hextall. Steps up, goes cross ice right to Degner. Degner pulls it off the wall, dumps it in, and it'll be a shift change for the Americans as Badsgon leaves the puck for Perkins. Out to neutral ice, picked up by McNutt. Cross ice left, Virtue to Farrell. Farrell brings it up, dumps it in, left of the net. McNutt lines up and Jeff Nelson. He slaps it off the wall, comes back to Kolzig. Kolzig out to Farrell. Farrell turns. hit the linesman right in the foot. Rennie back to Farrell. Dumps it in. Nibs going after the puck. Nibs in ahead of Siebel, but Siebel able to fire it back out. Offside Americans as Nibs got caught in the zone.
You know, Kirk, bringing up the banquet situation for the All-Star, what a week that's going to be. What a few days that's...
Yeah.
We are really in for some good entertainment, not, you know, hockey-wise, plus speaker-wise. Bobby Hull's brother, Dennis Hull, Chicago Blackhawks, is going to be in the Tri-Cities Coliseum here, and he's going to be giving a speech, and, boy, I'm excited about that.
He'll be the
MC.
The MC of the banquet on Monday night before the All-Star game.
And that's at Red Lion.
Right.
And that's
semi-formal, $20 a ticket. Then on Tuesday night, be sure to bring your radio. We have an all-star radio broadcast set up for you that I think will be a real treat. Face-off won by the Americans. Reeves takes it in. Spenrath hauled down from behind trying to be the trailer. Can't do it. Penalty coming. And Spenrath really was dumped over there in the corner. And the penalty will go against Laurie Billick, I believe.
You know, Kyle Reeves is playing with just a whole bunch of emotion here tonight. He's made some plays that are kind of questionable, but then again, he has drawn some plays. And right now, he took and drew the penalty right from Laurie Billick down there in the corner. And that play is going to pay off for the Americans. So really, if you take a look at the things he's not done so well, to the things he's done well, he's breaking about even tonight.
Penalty number, power play number 6 for the Americans. Tri-Cities up to now 4 for 5 on power plays.
Well, you know, we were talking earlier about their power play percentage in the last couple of games. They were only 1 for 9 in the last 2 games at about 11%. Boy, that'll bring up your numbers real quick, won't it?
Sure will. 7:46 to go in the hockey game. Shot taken from the point left by Farrell. Missed. Farrell keeps it in play as he runs it down. Picked up by Reeves. Reeves and Levens try to race in after it. Levens goes right to Sakic. Knocked away from him to Jaques at the blue line. Gets behind Jaques. But Farrell there to keep the puck in the Americans' control. Scott Farrell. As Levens goes around and crunches Jackson Penny. Puck shot into the PA zone. It'll be touched by Prince Albert. That's Todd Nelson for the icing. 7:19 to play. 4-2 Tri-Cities. Back right after this. Face-off in the right circle. Tri-Cities zone. Americans leading 4-2. Nielsen and Levens on the face-off. Levy wins it. Back to McNutt. McNutt goes behind the net. McNutt, Sakic, and Levens, the line for the Americans. As McNutt brings it up, goes right to Jaques, up along the wall. Jaques takes it into the Prince Albert zone. Raiders cut it off, and they'll bring it back out. Tri-Cities on the power play. Sakic trying to get it to McNutt. It rolls in, picked up by Levens. Levens down the slot. Lost and teed up by the Raiders and fired back out to neutral ice. Kozuback will leave it for Steve McNutt behind the net. McNutt comes around, steps in front of Nielsen, gets the pass off to Sakic, back to McNutt. McNutt off the wall, out to Kyle Reeves. Reeves hauled down. And a 2-line pass will be the call. Now Reeves and Todd Nelson having words.
Like I say, Kyle Reeves playing with a lot of emotion tonight. And he's really been, as they call it,
he's been busy
pepper
tonight.
pot.
Yeah. He's been a busy young man out there tonight. 6:38 to go in the third period. 52 seconds left in the power play on the penalty to Laurie Billick. 2-line pass will be the call, and it will come right inside the Tri-Cities blue line for the face-off. McNutt and Fuller. Puck is dropped. McNutt wins the draw. The Americans are sure winning some draws tonight. Jaques back to McNutt. McNutt wiped out. Spenrath with it along the wall. Drops it back to Scherstenka. Cross ice to Jaques. That may be tired as much as anything. Lindsay drops it into the Prince Albert zone. Back for it, Jurtis. They fired along the wall to Scherstenka. Keeps it in play at the blue line. Scherstenka walks in. Looks. Cole tries to force a pass to the right side. Had Lindsay on the doorstep. Now McNutt will do it. Down low for Spenrath. Picked up by the Raiders, Newmeyer. Newmeyer wiped out behind the net. Spenrath and McNutt. They throw it back up front. Scherstenka dance drive. Hits a body. Scherstenka gets it back from Fuller. Poke checked away. Scherstenka left. Lindsay. Lindsay right to McNutt. Nice save there by Badsgone, and the Raiders try to slap it back into neutral ice. Fuller gets by Jaques. along the boards. Now Billick breaks in, 2-on-1. Fuller's shot poked away by Kozuback. McNutt comes up. Cross ice pass left to Lindsay. The Americans go down, 2-on-3. Lindsay and Nibbs. Lindsay to Nibbs. Nibbs' shot just missed on the short side. Back up along the wall to 21, Terry Virtue. Virtue fired it back in behind the net, but it gets by Lindsay. Levens jumps on Nelson along the wall. Brother Todd has it, or Jeff has it, though. Raiders, Penny, shot, hits Kozuback dead on. And Virtue has it behind the net. Penalty coming as the Americans have the puck. Now we got a whistle. Hooking will be the call. And I think it's going to go. Oh, Kozuback is hot. He thought it was against the Raiders.
It's against Scotty Levens going down in the corner there. He takes a stick out and he hooks Jackson Penny and brings him down to the ice. And Scotty Levens playing some very emotional hockey as well tonight. He gets called for the penalty there. 2 minutes, power play for the Raiders. They're 10th.
That's right. To 9 for the, or to 6 for the Americans. 4 for 6 on power plays. For the Tri-Cities, the Americans have not scored a full-strength goal in this game.
That's exactly right, Kurt.
So the word on Stu Barnes is that he's in landing in Edmonton about now.
Yep,
and
right now.
Headed to Tri-Cities win.
Well, I asked his mom if he was going to be coming home right away for like the Sunday's game, and he said, "Are you kidding? It's 7-hour time difference between here and Helsinki, and that is kind of a lot of jet lag, so they're going to let him sit back for a couple of days. Probably celebrate his birthday since he wasn't at home to celebrate it."
That's right, a Christmas baby for his Stu Barnes. Puck in behind the net in the Prince Albert zone. Tri-City Americans owner Ron Dixon will be our guest, one of our guests on the post-game show. Nelson at the right point. He gets crunched. Puck knocked away from him. Nibbs whacks at it. Now Nibbs fires it out to Rennie. Here comes Rennie. Rennie, blue line shot. Just missed! And I mean just. As Nibbs goes in to belt his man. Eglund with the puck. 2-on-3. Eglund with it. He brings it in. Faces up with Virtue. Backhands into the slot. Whoops. 1-on-1 as Kozuback goes in. Dives out to break up the play. Kozuback dives on Jeff Nelson and makes the save. Left an open net, and the Americans there to clean it up. Minute 12 left in the penalty to Levens. McNutt chasing after Todd Nelson. Todd makes the pass back to brother Jeff, back to Todd. Headman pass right straight up the middle. Eglund goes in on Kozuback. Farrell dumps him. Penalty coming as Kozuback makes the save, but Eglund was hauled down from behind. It will be a tripping call against the Americans.
Scotty Farrell being whistled for the tripping penalty as Eglund had the clear breakaway going in on Olaf Kozuback. The only thing that the assistant captain, number 6, Scotty Farrell, could do was to let the body go. He went out fully extended, stick out in front, tripped him up as he went by, and that got him the penalty. It is now a 5-on-3 situation for at least 58 seconds. And the Prince Albert Raiders, if they want to get back in this contest, they should do it right now.
And the Raiders have asked for timeout. With timeout on the ice, the score 4-2 Tri-Cities. We'll be right back.
In the time it takes for a heartbeat, disaster can strike without warning. Now, relive the great tragedies of the 20th century and witness the ultimate testimony of the human spirit, man's primal instinct for survival. Wednesdays at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Only on the Discovery Channel.
Back at the Tri-Cities Coliseum, Kirk Williamson along with Tony Ott. As the timeout is over, Kozuback skates over to the net. And the face-off will come in the left circle, Tri-City zone. Raiders with a 2-man advantage for 58 seconds. You hear the crowd starting to come to life. McNutt on the face-off against Jackson Penny. I haven't seen Dean on the ice for a while. Have you, Tony?
No, I haven't.
Face-off, won by the Raiders. Down low they go. Right side, Nelson. Back up to Billick. Billick cross ice left to Todd Nelson. Right to Jeff. Jeff's shot goes off a stick up front. Knocked out of there by Sherstenka. Back to neutral ice. 40 seconds to go. In the 5-on-3. Penny with the puck. Steps across the blue line. Jackson Penny to the right side. Back up front now. Billick back to Penny. Cross ice left. Nelson. Save. Kolzig. Back up front again to Billick at the right point. Billick with the puck. Rotates to the left. Goes left now to Nelson. Back to Laurie Billick. Right side. Penny. He shoots and misses. Hit the back of the net. We're going to have to can that goal, Judge. That's the second time tonight he's turned the light on. Left side. Nelson. Back up front. Billick shot. Save Kolzig. Jaques has it. Shovels it out to neutral ice. And the Americans have killed a 5-on-3. Levens is on. Levens and Nib race in after it. Levens with it. Back to neutral ice. And we got a whistle offside called against Calvin Nib.
Listen to this crowd go crazy. Everybody's on their feet.
Boy, they sure have turned it loose, and the Americans successfully killing a 5-on-3 for more than a minute. Three minutes remaining in the hockey game. Tony Ott making his way over to the Founders Club Lounge, where he'll be setting up to do the penalty box show. And a quick whistle on the face-off. So we'll face it off one more time. Yeah, it's gotten a little loud in here, folks. Under 3 minutes to play. Nibs and Black on the face-off. Face-off won by the Raiders. Quick pass ahead, intended for Hextall, knocked away from him. Nibs taken down by Black out front, and the Americans drive it back into the Raiders zone. Dan Schustenka to drive it back into the Raiders zone. Puck back behind the net. This crowd is on its feet. Here come the Raiders up the left wing now. Lee Leslie losing it into the Tri-City zone. Schustenka back to the blue line. Cross-ice pass stolen away, and Jaques able to fire it back to neutral ice. Jackson Penny has it stripped away by Calvin Nibs. Penny up the right side, shoots it ahead to Black. Drop back pass for Leslie. Leslie goes cross-ice left, and Hextall can't handle the play. Hextall dumping it low. Jaques is there, fires it along the board. It gets by everybody. Gets by Newmeyer at the point. Back into the Prince Albert zone. Levens crunches the goaltender. Basgon. Basgon lost his stick. A shot was taken. The Americans with another chance. Basgon, no stick, and nobody helping him out. Billick, Levens, Basgon with no stick. Minute 50 to go. Power play's over. Levens has Basgon, no stick. Spenrath out front now. Virtue dumps it low for Reeves. Reeves turns. Reeves in traffic in the slot. Raiders trying to get rid of the puck. Now the Raiders get a chance to bring it up. They do. Basgon goes after his stick, but Kolzig is there to fire it off the glass. Whoop, it hit the linesman. Picked up by Renier. Knocked away from him. Point blank range. Eglin. Kolzig goes down. Down goes Sandwith. Shot taken across the slot. And they beat Kolzig this time. Jeff Nelson getting the goal as the Raiders put on a lot of pressure to make it 4-3. Raiders scoring at the 18:40 mark. That was Jeff Nelson getting the goal. We'll get the assist for you in a minute. Here in the Tri-Cities Coliseum. 4-3 Americans late in the third period. Remember, coming up tomorrow night, or on
Nelson, his 20th goal of the season, the assist to number 28, Kurt Renier, and number 17, Tracy Eglund at 18:40.
Face off at center ice. Tom Lathan and Tony Ott will be taking care of the honors in the Founders Club coming up in a few minutes. McNutt and Fuller on the face-off center ice. Puck's down, McNutt wins it. Schustenka there. Slaps it off the glass. Out to neutral ice. Raiders, Brook, and we got a two-line pass call against the PA Raiders. Minute 14 to go in the hockey game. 4-3 Tri-Cities leading the Prince Albert Raiders. It'll be for the Americans, McNutt with Nibs and Rennie, Schustenka and Jaques. At the points, Kolzig between the pipes for the Americans. For Prince Albert, it'll be Jeff Nelson to take the draw. Nelson has Eglin and Donovan Hextall, brother Todd, and Jackson Penny now, apparently at the points. Now Eglin will step in to take the draw. Penny, normally a centerman. They're playing him as a blue liner tonight. Jackson Penny with the puck for the Prince Albert Raiders. Will they pull their goaltender? Minute 7. Puck out to neutral ice. Eglin chops it to the right side to Nelson. Tries to center. Puck's loose. Picked up by Nibbs. Nibbs losing it to Nelson down low. Jaques has it. Fires it out to neutral ice. Puck bangs off the wall. Back into the Prince Albert zone. Penny goes back for it. Being looked over by Rennie. 46 seconds. Penny brings it up. Steps around McNutt. Around Nibbs. Jackson Penny gets a whack from Steve Rennie. Penny down low. Shovels it in behind the net. Comes off the wall to Nelson. There goes the goaltender. Raiders with an extra attacker. Jackson Penny. 30 seconds. Puck knocked away. Nibbs couldn't get it. Diving in is Lee Leslie. Leslie tries to center. Goes all the way across. In the slot. A drive. Puck's loose. Poked away by the Americans. Nice diving save by Nibbs. And McNutt pokes it back to neutral ice. Donovan Hextall with the puck. Raiders with 6 skaters on the ice. Sometimes that's an advantage, sometimes not. Jaques wires it around behind the net. It gets by Fuller. Back into the Raiders zone. Levens faces up his man. 1 second. Puck's on the way. Do they count it? No. Looks like Terstenka might have had that one in the empty net, but they won't count it because the buzzer went off before the puck arrived at the net. So their score, the final score, Tri-City Americans 4, the Prince Albert Raiders 3, in a whiteout here at the Tri-Cities Coliseum. We'll be back with a post-game show coming right up.
Exactly. We got a great group in here. Hey, we did it tonight, didn't we, fans? We did it. Very excited in here as the Tri-City Americans snap a 3-game home losing streak and did it in a very exciting game tonight against the Prince Albert Raiders, 4-3. And joining me here in just a couple of moments, we'll get a couple of players from down in the locker room, and the governor, Ron Dixon, he'll be coming in here in just a couple of seconds. Tom Latham's joining me here, and of course, we open this time up for interview fans out here that have some questions and want to talk a little hockey for just a couple of minutes until we get our guests up here. A lot of people here in the Founders Club, and of course, if you are exiting the building right now, there's a little bit of room way in the back over here, but and a little room back on this side over here too. So if you'd like to come on up here and join in on the fun up here in the Founders Club and get a chance to see this beautiful facility, you can make your way up the steps and come on up. I know that a couple of the players are coming up. We do see Steve Jaques coming in at this end of the at the Founders Club here, and of course, everyone very excited about that. Good job tonight, Steve. Here we go. Grab this for you. All right. Steve Jaques tonight. 3 assists, I believe, was the final tally for Steve Jaques, and 3 points. But great defense out there tonight, Steve, and congratulations on a really tough win out there tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. Yeah, our defense has been playing good ever since we came back, and I think that helps us. You know, we got Terry Virtue and Scott Farrell helped us a lot, and we're starting to play with regular partners, so we're going to be playing like this the rest of the year.
A pretty emotional game tonight, obviously. First game back since all of the controversy of the last week. Did you feel it out there? Did you see everybody wearing the white and everybody was behind you? What did you think about all these nice fans out there?
Yeah, that was great. I mean, we've been playing real hard on the road, but to come back and be treated like this is just super.
Of course, all you fans from a lot of the polls and everything are very supportive of what actually happened. And of course, Steve, I guess we have to tip our hats off to you. You stood up for something that you felt very strongly for, and I know a lot of the fans here respect what you did too. That was a very tough decision for you. We want to open it up real quick. I know there's some people out here that have a few questions that would like to talk to Steve Jaques, and let's do that. We've got some hands going up. Tom, we're running around here. Get some questions for Steve Jaques.
This guy's got a good question here.
Okay.
Was that punch for the team the other night?
That's an excellent question. First time that we've had an opportunity to see you, Steve, since that punch by Darcy Simon on the Seattle game. That was one for the team, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I guess it was, you know. I knew I was going to draw him into a penalty. I didn't think I had to be. I had something had to be done. We were losing 5-1, and there's 11 minutes left. We could have won. I wasn't really expecting the last one, where I got cut on, but he's going to get his. So.
Whoa.
Tom?
Steve, it looked like it was going to get rough out there a few times tonight. Do you think our opposition has an attitude that they can get you guys into some tangles and get you more interested in fighting and get you out of your game?
No, I don't think any team in this league has the toughness, the tough guys, enough tough guys to play that sort of game against us. I mean, we've got probably, if not the toughest, one of the toughest teams in the league, even with the loss of a couple guys. But I don't think anybody's got a team that can come in and try and intimidate us or get us preoccupied like that.
Questions back here? We got some hands, right?
Okay, over here.
Okay. If you got a question, stick your hands up.
How many years have you been playing hockey?
I've been playing hockey since I was 6 years old. I've been skating since I was 4. So.
See a lot of youngsters out here, and you probably should take that advice if you want to be like Steve Jaques, huh?
Yeah, but there's lots of guys that started when they were older. You know, Marco Fuster never played for Spokane last year, and he's playing in the International League right now. He never started till he was, I think, 13 or 14 years old.
Steve, you look about 37 tonight. You look tired, buddy. All right, right over here.
Question right back over there.
Do the fans help you out a lot when we cheer?
Good question. Did the fans help a lot? It
yeah.
was loud out there tonight, especially in the third period.
Oh, definitely. When the fans, when you're cheering like that, we get pumped up a lot. You know, the other team gets pumped up a little bit too because all the excitement, but it helps us. We don't want to let you down, so we give it that little extra.
Another question over here, Steve.
What was it like for Donnie Bliston playing for Portland in that one game?
I guess it was an experience for him. I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
All right. Power play really was clicking tonight. You guys scored 4 power play goals. All the goals tonight were on the power play out of, I believe, the 6 opportunities. And that really shows that you guys are working very hard on the extra man advantage there.
Yeah, I think we still have the best power play in the league, and it's been a little dry lately. I think, you know, a couple games before Christmas and after Christmas, but I think we're starting to get down pat with the players we have. It kind of put us off when we lost Stu, because he's the guy that takes the puck into the zone and sets us up. And when we set up, we were awesome almost, you know. I'll say that, but...
oh, well, awesome.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good word.
But that's been our biggest problem on the power play lately, is we haven't got in their zone and set it up. We get it in, we take a rush, we take a couple shots, and then they shoot it back out. And we need somebody like Stu to get in there and set us up.
Were you guys loose tonight? After the game last night, it was a tough, heartbreaking loss up there and the overtime loss, but you guys seemed really loose. You guys weren't struggling at all with yourselves.
Well, I don't know. You can never tell what the guys are thinking. I mean, but I thought, you know, you can tell in a game like Portland. I mean, after the holdout, we were going to win. There's no doubt about that. And I think we're trying. I think we're going to play like that the rest of the year. We have to prove ourselves right. You know, well, not me, but the guys. And I want to help them out. You know, I'm happy for the guys.
All right. Steve Jaques, he's been our guest, and we'll come back in just a couple of moments. Scotty Farrell will join us here in the Founders Club in the postgame show.
Your wish, our command. Your favorite music. Aerosmith.
These women are about to discover TV's home shopping club. It's where you'll go bananas over bargains on designer fashions, jewelry, housewares, electronics. Go bananas over bargains on TV's home shopping club. It's the most fun you can have while shopping. Go ahead, invite a bunch of friends over and watch them go bananas over bargains. Tune in TV's home shopping club now and go bananas over bargains.
All right, we're back here in the Founders Club, and joining me right now is assistant captain of the Tri-City Americans, Scott Farrell. A goal tonight, and did a very good job out there. Some very appreciative fans up here in the Founders Club. First time, actually, that the Tri-City fans have really had an opportunity to sit down and chat with Scotty Farrell. Of course, Scott Farrell played some hockey up in Spokane. A lot of you people are probably very familiar with that. Last night up in Spokane, got his first Tri-City Americans goal against Spokane, and then tonight also added a marker, so he's got 2 goals as an American. And, well, first off, I say, for everybody here, welcome to the American.
Hey, thanks. It's great to be here. It's better to be cheered in this building than booed, that's for sure.
All right.
Well, tonight, a real difficult game. You guys have played 2 really good games. I'm sure that Coach Kozuback will agree on that. Last night was a tough game. You guys played up there in Spokane, and it had a lot of emotion, I'm sure, for you, too, playing up there against some of your old teammates. And taking it on the backside, losing it in the overtime. But coming back tonight, you definitely had something that you wanted to prove here for the hometown fans.
Yeah, I think after what happened during the last week, we definitely wanted to prove how the team has come together over the last week. And I think one thing we were missing before the Christmas break was the togetherness within the dressing room. And I think with what happened last week, all the guys are together and we're out doing things together, and it's a way better atmosphere right now.
The atmosphere definitely has improved. I've had a chance to see you guys during the course of the week. Practices have been more spirited. You guys are coming out and playing some real good hockey as well, and tonight it actually showed it. We're going to open up the questions. I know there's some people that would definitely like to get to know Scott Farrell, and let's get some questions. We have a question over here? No? Tom Lathan, you're going to walk around here?
What do you think about playing in a real Coliseum, Scott?
We'll put you on the spot on that one, huh?
Why didn't you play tonight?
What's
he
that
did
now?
play tonight.
Oh, he played, and he played very well.
Yeah.
Got a goal tonight. Yes.
Where were you?
Other questions for Scott Farrell?
Glasses for that one.
Okay, we got a gentleman in the back here. He's got his hand raised. Tom, we're going to we're going to make you run. Make you run a little bit.
Yeah, I did a 40-yard dash in here between periods. I don't know if any of you saw that or not, but
all right,
they brought oxygen up to the PA booth. Okay, I'm going to get there. Honest, I am.
Did you have fun out there tonight, Scott?
Yeah, it's great playing in front of 6,000 people every night. And in Spokane, you show up one night and there's 1,600, and then the next night there's 2,500. When you know there's 6,000 people out there cheering you on every night, it's a really great feeling.
It's an excellent experience, no doubt about it. Tom?
I made it. All right.
How is it coming in to skate with some people that you may have fought from time to time? Is there any controversy amongst yourselves, or you just kind of work that out?
First couple days you got to keep your head up, but after you get to know the guys and everything, and I played in New Westminster with some of the guys 3 years ago, and some of them are still kicking around here, so it was easier adjustment knowing some of the guys.
You definitely develop relationships out there when you're on the ice, especially, you know, if you're on a different team. You get to know some of these veterans out there a little bit, and you have tendencies to jab at each other, and it kind of, does it come back to haunt you at all? Does it bring it up in practice at all?
Not really.
No. All right.
All right, we're going to try it again here.
Okay, you've got another one for us.
What did you think of the refs?
And there is that question again.
The refs tonight were great because we won, but if we lost, they...
All right, we got time for another question here.
How do you like playing against your own teammates last night?
It's the third time now after the last month or so that I played against Spokane. So the first time it was a little different, but you get used to it after a while.
One of the big things that the Tri-City Americans and the people that know this game around the league say that Scotty Farrell is the type of guy that has a great shot, is a good defensive man, and can really, you know, find the net when he needs to. With the type of talent that you're finding here on the Tri-City Americans Club, is it easier for you to get down in there and take those quality shots, or do you feel that you still have to make the effort and work harder, like, say, that you would do in Spokane, where you basically were the fire plug and that you had to go out there and make everything happen?
I'd like to know who you were talking to, so I had a knock around the net.
That's right. As far as...
No, but when you're playing with better hockey players, it's definitely easier, I guess, to go out and score more goals because you got more talented guys around you.
So it makes it a lot easier than really making something happen for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. We got way back there, Tom. You got somebody? We got the microphone there. We got to kick that around a little bit. How
Hello. There we go.
There we go.
I was
Sorry,
wondering what
guys,
it's
my
like
fault.
to be traded from one team to another and have to uproot from billet families, you know, in just a matter of days and move on to a new team.
Unfortunately, I'm getting used to it, so I was in Lethbridge and back to Spokane, now in Tri-Cities, but the first in New Westminster, I was living at home, and getting traded to Spokane was hard. But you get used to living away from home. Once you start knowing some of the guys and being with them, they're like your family anyways, so.
All right. Got one more question we got time for?
All right, here we go.
Are you guys going to play a lot harder for Rick Kozuback right here?
You're going to keep on chugging for Rick Kozuback.
You're going to keep on doing it just like you're doing for the coach?
That's right, yeah, for sure.
All right. Scotty Farrell, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take the quick timeout. We'll be right back. More from the Founders Club right after this.
Prime Sports Northwest presents Prime Northwest Sports.
Coming around the screen, left side Ellis, but the ball goes right to Derek McKee, working on Aguirre, goes inside, fires a left-handed shot, good!
Garcia going home run into the end zone. It is caught, touchdown, Washington State.
Glenn Goodall with the puck and across the line for Ewan busting right in with a backhander. Score!
Recchi on the right, walking in with 2 minutes to go. Gets the spot, shoots and scores!
Prime Northwest Sports on Prime Sports Northwest.
You're listening to a costly transmission problem. Now, here's what a $40 problem sounds like. Sound the same, don't they? And not just to you and me, to trained mechanics, too. That's one reason AMCO checks out your transmission 9 ways to Sunday. Fact is, half of the cars serviced by AMCO dealers don't need a new transmission. Take your car to AMCO now. What they tell you might sound awfully good. AMCO, AA-MCO.
Crazy, unfortunately, got scored on right at the end. Wasn't that something? Oh.
We're back once again in the Founders Club. I'm Tony Ott, joined by Coach Rick Kozuback. Coach, congratulations. Great game today.
Thank you.
Tri-City Americans came to work tonight, didn't they?
Well, I think that, all 3 games we've played since coming back from Christmas have been, I think have been really the most inspired games that we've played. Even the game we lost last night was a game that really we could have won just as easily as Spokane could have won. Our guys played as determined as they've ever played, as inspired. There were very few breakdowns, and the game in Portland was a great game. This was a great game. Maybe this is a sign of good things to come for us. I hope so. If we continue to play this hard, we may lose the odd game, but we're going to win a lot more than we lose.
Well, in the schedule we talked about earlier tonight in our pregame show is that it's definitely in your favor right now. Again, playing sub-500 teams, but the sub-500 teams, they sometimes can fool you, can't they? You've got to go into every contest thinking it's the #1 team.
Well, some of the toughest games we've had are against teams that supposedly are not as good as the other teams in the league. I mean, Prince Albert are a sub-500 team, and this is one of the toughest games we've had for a long time. Spokane are sub-500, and we lost last night in overtime. Portland are sub-500, and they've always given us good games. Victoria always plays us really tough. So, I mean, for us, I don't think there is an easy game on our schedule. The advantage that we have, thanks to Al Patterson, who just did an outstanding job on our schedule this year, is actually getting us in a position where we play very few what we consider to be tough road games. Like, we don't have very many 3-game weekends. We don't have the bad trips where we play in Spokane one night, Kamloops the next night, back home the third night. So our schedule is definitely in our favor. And as you said, I think we play 20 games at home, 15 on the road, 5 against Eastern teams at home, and 7 out of the 12 this month, I think you said, were against teams who were below 500. So we definitely have an advantage. The thing that we have to do is use the advantage that's apparent and make sure we play the game the right way.
Emotional-wise, of course, with all the fan support, 6,000 people, and the great whiteout that they had tonight here at the Coliseum, which was, by the way, was really a sight to see, especially when that wave went around. That was really good. But as far as the emotional factor, you as a coach, getting your players prepared for this contest tonight, how much did you have to tell them before they went onto the ice before the game started?
Like, really not any more than we ever tell them. Like, it's a matter of, in our situation, we cover some tactical things first, and we look at maybe just how we have to prepare, and we try to break the game down into smaller segments. I think all the players knew how intense they had to play. I don't think that there's a point now in the season where they realize, or where they think they don't have to play. But coming out and seeing the building as white as it was, and then particularly in the third period, the latter stages when the crowd was so vocal and so supportive of the team, I think it picks up an already inspired group and just takes them that much further.
Did you have butterflies coming into tonight's game?
I definitely had butterflies about the 10-minute mark of the third period because we had a 2-goal lead last night in Spokane and lost it 3-2 in overtime. And then we have a 2-goal lead, and late in the period they score one, and I'm thinking to myself, my God, here we go again. So there was a point there when it was getting a little testy.
Well, you made mention to me also earlier is that you don't like seeing the Americans a lot out in front at the end of, say, one period, even two periods, because we have a tendency to kind of kick back a little bit, sit on our skates, and then it gets the other team back in it. You'd rather be right there fighting it tooth and nail right at the end of, say, the first period and the second period. It was very close at the end of the first period, tied up again tonight. And at that particular time, I made the comment that that is just where you like to see it. Still stick by that?
Well, I think with our guys, that seems to be the way they play better. If we have a big lead, and we haven't had one of those for so long, I'm not even sure I can remember how we played when we had it last, but I'm trying to go back in the memory banks and look for the games that we played when we actually had a lead. I think we play a lot worse going into the latter stages of the game when we have a lead. And the only one that comes to the top of my head was the game we played here against Portland before we went on our Eastern swing. I think we were up by 4 or 5 goals and ended up losing the game. So we do play better when it's a dogfight right to the end. And it would be nice if we could get into that situation like tonight, maybe where we're up by 2, come into the third period and just start to roll. But that wasn't the case to be tonight, but maybe it will be soon.
Power play really worked well tonight. 4 out of 6 attempts. That's not too bad as far as the percentage goes.
Our specialty teams have been, I think Steve said it, I think our power play still is the best in the league. We're very close to 40% with it, which is incredible. If you could finish the season at 25 to 28%, you're doing something. So for us, I mean, that's a big, big key for us. In addition to that, our penalty killing has been phenomenal. We kept Spokane last night 0 for 8, and I think we allowed 1 tonight in 10 or 12 attempts. So, I mean, our percentage, both man short and when we have the man advantage, has been really good, and that's a big part of it. What we have to improve upon is our play when we're 5-on-5.
All right. Coach Rick Kozuback, we're going to open it up here, and I know there's a few questions that some of the people have, and Tom's walking back here. Go ahead.
Do you have any improvements you want to make on the team?
Any improvements? Well, I think our play 5-on-5 is still not anywhere near what we want it to be. Our defensive game is getting better. We've kept Portland down to 4. We kept Spokane to 3, and we played a very tight game, I thought, tonight in keeping the opposition to 3. So our defensive game is getting a little bit better. We know that's a part of the game that we have to improve on, and definitely our even strength game we've got to be better at. We've got to be able to score more when we're playing 5-on-5.
All right. Tom, another one?
Can you tell us why Rob Krause was traded?
At this particular point, each team was allowed to carry 3 20-year-olds. And the acquisition of Jimmy Dean made one of the 20-year-olds, forced our hand with one of the 20-year-olds. And it was a decision that was made by everybody concerned that we had to let Rob Krause go to make room for a 20-year-old centerman.
All right, another question right here.
Who's that Rankers? Who's Rankers I saw on the ice?
Trevor Rankers is as a young man who was on our protected list all of last year. He's a 17-year-old, and he was 17-year-old. He was added to our roster. He was traded to Niagara Falls and was brought back to our roster just today, and should be with us for the remainder of the season.
What do you do with your broken sticks?
What do we do with our broken sticks? We put them in the broken stick bin.
Hide the bin.
Yeah, that's it. Where's the bin at? Right. Okay, right back here in the back.
Will somebody have to be let go when Stu gets back?
We're our depth is a little bit high right now. We actually have 24 players here. We wouldn't be able to keep any more than 22. When Stu comes back, I think we're going to be at 25. So there's, at this point, at least 3 players that we're going to have to make some decisions on.
All right, another question?
Do you get mad at them after they fight?
Well, it depends whether we started the fight and how much trouble we got into because of starting it. But generally, I don't get too mad, no.
How did you feel when the players stood up to you, and how are the player-coach relations now?
Well, I think our relationship was always pretty good. And I think if anything, it's gotten a lot stronger in the last week. I think there's definitely a bond, really strong bond amongst all the players in the team, and there seems to be a lot better relationship than even there was before. So we're pretty proud of everybody who is on this team and everybody who's making the best effort to make it better.
Yes, another one.
It seems like since the season started, we've seen a lot of changes in our players coming and going. With what's occurred in this past week, is there any chance that's going to slow down some so we recognize some of the players for a longer period of time?
Well, we're at a point where the last day to officially sign players is January the 10th. And the trading deadline is January the 27th, I believe, so no roster changes can be made. Really, very few roster changes will be made after January the 10th. And if there's anything that would change, it would be just a couple after that.
Yeah, another question.
When will Stu Barnes be back?
When will Stu Barnes be back? He should be back for our January 10th game in Spokane.
That, of course, is on Wednesday night. From what I understand, he'll be back on Tuesday. He just got in, actually, tonight back at home. Flew in just outside Edmonton, so he's going to probably take a day off, isn't he, and regroup from that jet lag, I would imagine.
Yeah, we don't expect him back here until, you know, probably Monday or Tuesday, but no sooner than Monday.
Yeah, and definitely congratulations to Stewie on winning the gold medal.
A great championship.
Yes, it is. Tom, back over here.
Yeah, I'd like to know what it's going to take to beat Kamloops at Kamloops, and can you guys do it?
Well, Kamloops is definitely the premier team in our division, and I guess it may be the premier team in all of the Canadian Hockey League. They have a very strong home record. One of the difficulties you have in Kamloops is the ice surface is so much smaller than ours, and it makes for a very compact game, and the home team definitely has an advantage. Similarly, the home team who plays more on larger ice surfaces has an advantage. I think we're real close to Kamloops. We played them 7-6 in overtime the first time we were up there. We lost 7-4 the next time, but had a real good third period where we scored 4 goals and showed a lot of character coming back. Since that time, Kamloops have not played as consistent as they have earlier in the year. I think it was early last week, Seattle beat them in Kamloops, so I think they're at a point in time where they can be beat. All we have to do is make our players believe that we can actually win in Kamloops.
Yeah, I got about 3 more I can see.
Okay,
so.
good enough.
Was it the team's decision to trade Rob Krause? I mean, for the other...
I think we went over that one already, but...
Yeah, that was a team decision, wasn't it?
Team decision.
Yeah, you bet. Okay,
when we loaned Blishen, how come we didn't bring Passmore back?
When we which? Excuse me?
When we loaned Don Blishen to Portland, why didn't we bring Passmore back?
Steve Passmore is playing in what's called the Esso Cup in Quebec City, Quebec. And what it is it's a national tournament for the best 16-year-olds. There are 3 Canadian teams. Steve is on the Alberta, British Columbia team. He's a goaltender. And they're playing in an international tournament, and he won't be back until the 8th of January either. So we couldn't bring him back. And the player who's playing with him, the other goaltender, is a goaltender that Portland have. And so since he was there, and since Intwert was hurt and Defoe was hurt, there was no option but to loan him a goaltender, and we thought that was something we'd do in good faith, and you never know, we might need a favor sometime too.
Well, when that comes out, and that helps us too, because now Donnie Blishen gets another chance to see Kamloops, and besides that, with the victory, it's 2 points that they can't pull out further in front of us. So it was definitely a two-sided favor right there.
Oh, it tremendously helped Don Blishen. I mean, he gets an opportunity to play, against Kamloops and gets a lot of shots, builds his confidence tremendously because of what he had to do and who he had to play against. And, it can't help but make him a better player. And similarly, it kept Kamloops a little bit off guard, and Portland have been able to beat Kamloops twice. Hopefully, this will stir us on a little bit.
That's right. One more question we've got time for.
I was just curious, what happened that we got the bench minor tonight?
Coach,
the second bench minor.
You got to be careful on how you say this now. What was it?
The first bench minor was for too many men on the ice.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the first.
The second one was for something else.
Oh, the second one was, I think we just had one penalty called against us that we thought was a little bit unjustified, and I just made a stupid...
A comment.
I just raised my hand. When he raised his hand to say that we couldn't make a line change, I raised mine, and that was it. I guess that's all it took. That was a dumb thing on my part because we're down 5 men to 3.
So, but you got out of it, and the Americans were the winners tonight, 4-3 over a very tough Prince Albert Raider team. Thanks, Coach, for coming up.
Thank you, Tom.
All right. We'll take the time out right now. We'll be right back to wrap it up right after this.
Brief.
All right, we're back here once again at the Founders Club. We are sitting up here now, and the governor-owner of the Tri-City Americans, Mr. Ron Dixon, joins us. And Ron, a good win tonight, wasn't it? It was very satisfying.
They're all good. This one was particularly good, Tony. Yeah, you're right. Great win.
It was an excellent win, and I know that it really got the players all excited, and I think it's one of those kind of wins that can go on for a few more games, can it? This kind of emotion can definitely build.
Well, you know, if we had a problem, as I said about 6 weeks ago, I think it was the fact that because of the new guys on the team, they hadn't kind of come together as a family, and you have to have that. It's such a darn tough sport that you've got to have 21 heartbeats all in the same rhythm and going in the same direction. And if this incident has done anything, it's certainly welded together that unit, and the guys universally respect Steve for what he did, and he respects them. And now you got guys that they were strangers before, and now they've been through war together, and that's a pretty bonding experience. So that's certainly helped the club, and I think the guys have gone out on a limb, and now they've got to show their stuff, and they are showing it. So that's just great.
Speaking of the incident, obviously the press all over it, world press actually. I understand that it is all the way back in England, from what I understand, and this has made such big news that the editors are now sending sports reporters. Sports Illustrated magazine is now represented here tonight. What does that do? I mean, is that a negative, a positive? Obviously, it's been a real hectic week for you, but overall now, look back on it. What do you think about it?
Well, I'm not really sure what to think. I didn't find out the team didn't show up till 9:15 that night. I got a call from a Canadian press reporter. I was down visiting an old college friend, and I didn't know the team didn't show up till about an hour after it happened. So I was the last guy to find out. But what do I think about it? I think it was unfortunate, and I think that Bill LaForge is not a bad man. I think it's been. He's probably put 100 guys in the NHL, and if you talk to those guys, I don't think there's one that wouldn't say they were a lot better for the experience of knowing them. But I think I think he came in and didn't show enough respect to the existing conditions and the existing, coaching personnel, and I think that cost him, and it cost him a lot more dearly than he probably thought. And of course, the press is, they have what's known in the media business as a feeding frenzy, and they get on that track, and away they go, and of course, little things become big things, and big things become mountains. And so what do I think? I think it's unfortunate, but I think the bottom line is that team's playing great, and Mr. LaForge is getting a paycheck, and the players are happy, the coach is happy, and how could I not be happy?
All right, and the team is playing very well as well. What is going to happen now? Obviously, I think the big question that's been raised is any kind of retaliation. Obviously, I know that the American players, there's going to be some form of judgment against them. They're going to be spending 10 hours, I believe, of community service, taking care of that as far as their, quote, punishment, I believe. If there's a better word for it, I'm sure.
Well, no, the word's punishment. Maybe the objective was, in their eyes, a correct one, and maybe it was a correct one, but you don't have to use a howitzer to do what a pea shooter will do. Obviously, it's common sense that if the boys don't want to play for a certain or with a certain individual, then it's pretty stupid of management to try and force them to do so because it's counterproductive. I mean, they can only play for someone they like and respect and who they can learn from. So, I mean, they didn't have to do that, but in their minds, they probably thought I knew all about it, and they, I think to a man, we had a meeting a couple of days ago, and to a man, there was a little tear shed and some hugs, and I think, I've known some of those boys since they were 7 years old, so there's going to be no retaliation.
You speak of them as boys. A lot of the
well, they're actually young men, but I still look upon them as boys.
The age we know of being 16 to 20 years old in this league, a lot of people would take the attitude though that they're professionals. What do you look at it as? Are these guys, should they be treated as teenagers or should they be treated as professional athletes?
Well, that's another good question. Everybody's full of good questions tonight. They are professionals, and they're getting paid to do what they do, and at the same time, in case they can't move on to the next stage, they're learning a backup skill, and that's what they're going to college and high school for. Every one of them wants to do this for a living. It's his chosen field of endeavor, and they are professionals, and they've got to learn to act like professionals, and I'm sure Bob Hope had many days when he didn't feel like going out and being funny, but he did it anyways because that was his job. And they've got to learn that that's their job too. And good times, bad times, no times, up times, whatever times. They've got to go out there and you know, take the lunch bucket and go to work. So from that point of view, they were wrong. From every other point of view, they were probably right.
Let's go ahead and open up the questions. I know that there's several people out here that would like to ask a question. Tom, you got somebody back here?
I just want to know how come you guys would hire a guy like that had a losing record and got fired from the team he was on before?
Well, in actual fact, Bill LaForge has put more guys in the NHL, this is a fact, than any other coach in the history of junior hockey. And he's got the best winning record. He's got the second best winning record in Major A hockey of anyone that's ever played the game since 1922. So, in fact, he's a winning coach.
All right over here, guys.
I don't think everyone heard the question. Tom, do you want to give this gentleman the mic? So
He's got
it was a pretty good question, but I think people would like to hear it.
Yeah.
I forgot what I just said.
I think you said...
Okay, I was curious on, he just had a losing season last year, and you said he was a winning coach, and he got fired, so don't you think there's something going on? Maybe he's going downhill, he's not producing like he's supposed to anymore?
Well... You know, the Portland Winterhawks won the Memorial Cup. The next year they were in last place. You know, they didn't fire their coach, and they didn't particularly think that was disastrous. I'm sure they'd have preferred to. You know, what you do here in this business, you can't peak all the time. In sports business, you can't win all the time. It's impossible. So what you do is you try and get cycles, and you try to peak every 3 or 4 years and stay competitive in between. And, you know, that's the sports business. You can't be the best all the time. It's impossible. And so maybe you're right. But you see, you know, all the management team of the Tri-City Americans, including myself, Coach Kozuback, General Manager, Joe Hansen, the whole management team, all the scouts, unanimously agreed to hire this man. So if we made a bad decision, I guess we all did. And I don't think it's a bad decision yet. I think the jury's still out. What was bad was the way that he handled it. And I still think this gentleman's going to find us some awfully good hockey players in the next couple of years.
All right, let's go right over here. Tom, we got a question.
Okay. How is Al Patterson? You mentioned paper he's ill and that. Is he actually leaving the team or good or just temporarily?
He actually came back to work this morning. So, yeah. So, no, he's had his tests, and he's waiting for the results. He's going back up on Tuesday. He put in a couple hours today. He didn't feel too bad, so hopefully, you know, he'll be able to come back full time.
All right, question?
How do you like the playing tonight?
What did you think of the playing tonight?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
What did you think of the playing tonight of the team?
I thought the team played with a great deal of emotion, and, you know, I've been watching this game for a lot of years. I've never heard noise like that. I mean, how could you not play well, folks? I mean, how could you possibly not reward that kind of faith?
Good job, fans. That was great. You guys did great. Right back over here in the corner.
Yeah, are you going to keep this coach for more than 1 year this time?
Excuse me?
Are you going to keep this coach for more than 1 year?
What do you think? Pardon me?
I was in sports when I was in college. You can't build a team on a new coach every year.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But you can't build a winner with mediocrity either. And the point is that, like, Rick is an excellent coach, in my opinion. One day we'll probably do this in the NHL. And, you know, once you get the right guy, then you hold on to him with both hands. And, you know, as far as I know, Rick's not going anywhere unless you know something I don't know. Yeah, no. He's got a 2-year contract, and we'll probably be talking about renewing that if he wants to stay here. So,
all right. We got a question over here.
Has there been a decision made about what to do about the Portland game? Is it going to be replayed, or are we going to have to forfeit, or?
It's going to be replayed. It's going to be replayed right here, and we've given Portland 2 dates to choose from. One of them is Thursday, the 22nd of February, I think, and the other one is a little bit earlier in February. It'll be replayed in the 3rd week or 4th week of February. And that's the only date in the rest of the year that both teams can replay the game, so that's why we're doing that. It's on a Thursday.
With the exchange of Donnie Blishen over to Portland, did that kind of help mend some fences there with Portland, maybe?
We didn't have any fences to mend.
All right. Another question?
Yeah, when you guys have, like, when you guys have games, some of the games that the team has bad attitudes, and did they have a good attitude this game, or a bad?
Sunday had a great attitude. They had a great attitude. You could see that. You could see that. Like, they weren't going to lose that game, or they were going to die in the attempt. And you know, it's like, it's a funny thing. Like those 21 heartbeats, you get them all pumping in the same way. You know, there's nobody in the world who's going to beat you in the sports business. And the trouble is, and the difficulty the coach has, I mean, all coaches know the game and they know how it should be played. It's getting their guys to do what they're supposed to do and get them working together. And that means you got 21 egos, you got 21 guys that maybe, you know, don't feel like playing that day. And the coach's job is to get them all going and pulling and pumping in the same direction. If he does that, he'll usually win. As a matter of fact, he'll always win. And the guys who do that best are the best coaches.
All right. Well, that takes care of it. Governor Ron Dixon, ladies and gentlemen, and we will wrap it up right here. Next action for the Tri-City Americans will be on Sunday night. They will take on the Victoria Cougars right here at the Tri-Cities Coliseum. For Kirk Williamson, I'm Tony Ott. Thanks for listening.